What's up, AoE lovers? Next series on the way after we had a great one, Tattoo against the Max hard-fought series. And now, Suomi, looking to the next one we won. It's going to be a tough one as well.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting because we got the situation where there was a matchup already for Suomi and it wasn't that good as expected. At least for them, they expected more. But Villese now with the chance to actually make it happen and get the first point here versus Hera from Aftermath. Let's see how that's going to go.
Oh god, and that series before really delivered. The thing is, you need 7 points to be guaranteed to get into the Sunday, and already missing one out of those crucial 7 points. If you lose both of them, there's a lot of pressure for the upcoming 2v2s today.
That's going to be very tough for sure. I mean, there's a lot of games that we're going to see today and also the next day to make it happen until the finals. But still, as Nili has said, there is just limited chances, and after that one, it's going to get really tough. So, ideally, Villese is going to get that win.
Ideally, but Hera is something against that. He is very motivated, and well, it's kind of a sign that on how strong he is at the moment, right? If you think about what's the big lineup of AM, we have Hart, we have MBL, Nikov, Liri, and Hera. So they decided against Nikov and against Liri to send out Hera. That was a surprise to a lot of us.
In my opinion as well, I agree. When I thought about this, exactly, I thought about the other players, but in this case, Hera. But there's a reason for that one, because Hera, currently in the past tournaments that we've seen this year, quite a strong performance. And also this matchup that we had with Villese and Hera actually happened in another tournament before MSC, that is, and that was an interesting one as well to see how they behave to each other, you know, what kind of things can happen. And Hera in this case was successful. The question is it going to be a repetition of the past or not?
Yeah, well, if we think about like them facing each other in a normal, everyday rated 1v1, it's for me Hera all day, every day. But with those special settings, prepared maps, drafting, those Suomi players always have something in their sleeves.
That is for certain. If we just look at what Suomi has accomplished throughout the years, it is always them shining on mixed maps where some water and where some specialties about the maps and where Civ Draft can play a role. We've seen them being quite successful. For Hera, people might say that, well, for land maps, that is his thing. For water maps, it can get complicated, but still, both are talented players.
Yeah, and we have one water map, we have a mixed water map, we have one regicide where he didn't tend to shine either.
Yeah, that's for certain. As I see that currently picking the maps over here, if I see that, and that is Caribbean as the first one. Very interesting.
Yeah, I don't really know whose home map that is. It is the home map of, I believe, A. So we will see who that was drafted from. And yeah, now on the left-hand side we can see Villese. Right-hand side is Hera, and he gets some support behind him. Hard in the background. I know that Liri went there as well, so they are trying to advise him quite nicely. And Villese had the first pick there with Caribbean.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me that much. As we've said, mixed maps for Suomi is a thing. And with Caribbean, we got a water map where it's going to be very important to take over the map as soon as possible with galleys, fire galleys, you name it, or landing. Let's see what Hera's actually going to pick.
Well, it has been some time when I think about it, like when we had what we call water map, and just had a full-out water battle. Those days seem to be over.
Right, that is for certain. I mean, but what we've seen right now is a lot of landing, right? There's this feint where they just debate with a single villager and a scout, or just they go all in with 5 villagers or 4 villagers and a scout. It has changed indeed. I mean, there's benefits for both of these options, going on water or just landing. But as you said, it is very interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing if Villese is actually choosing the water path here.
Well, he started with Caribbean, and it also depends on the civilization. But if you just think about it, like the Max, arguably the best player from Suomi, he got Vikings on Caribbean, and he lost the game. That might be a bummer in the whole confidence of Suomi.
Yeah, that is for certain. I mean, if you just think that Vikings can be so dominating, and all of a sudden a landing still happens regardless, that might be a bummer, but maybe also for Villese a thing to say, man, I'm going to do it better, because I've seen how it can go wrong. This time maybe learn from this one, make it better. Could be said like this as well.
Yeah, we will see how that will work out. Dry River, the home map of Hera here, and that's all in-your-face aggression, mass army at the center kind of map.
Yeah, we have the water aspect as well, just a tiny bit when it comes to resources, but indeed scouts play will be quite important. I assume that can be a beneficial factor if you are good at that, and we all know Hera is someone who can succeed.
Oh, he loves his scouts for sure. Maybe man-at-arm aggression before that might be a reasonable opening, then some spearmen. And, well, now we're going into the bans. Hera is banning Bog, another very heavy water map.
That is not as surprising, I would say. So you know that Bog is there, and you know that you're up against Villese, and you also know that Villese might be really good at that, at least with the training of Suomi that we've seen. Probably a strategical good one here by Hera.
Yeah, and then the map that is closest to Arabia, Serengeti, is banned by Belize. So I like the approaches here quite a bit. And you see, Hera, he looks intense, like, oh, what do I pick next? And it seems like, honestly, like only looking at the faces, Belize looks more prepared, in my opinion.
Yeah, it seems that if he just knows what to do. Right now, he just has everything in mind. Maybe he expected those bans, he expected these picks. But now, the next pick, after banning Bog and Serengeti, we see Arena.
Oh, boy. That's going to be an interesting one, yeah. And then we see some people cheer in the back there. And I think this will be the one with 900 HP, so Tower Rush could be an option here. And yeah, I'm interested to see how they will play that one out. Something I wanted to say, like one of the beauties of having this LAN, right, is to just go at the players and look over their shoulders how they play. And something I saw from Belize was that he only uses his index finger, but not his middle finger. So basically he's switching the left-hand side and the right, or the left mouse click and the right mouse click with only the index finger. This looks so weird how he clicks that, and he is like, he was #1 in Booby when we won. It's so weird sometimes.
I mean, imagine that. I mean, I saw that one yesterday as well when they did those practice matches, and I just solely focused on his hand. I had this tunnel vision, and it was so fast regardless. So that is quite an accomplishment. We got to give him that. And he was actually also the one picking Arena here, by the way, just saying.
Yeah, and he also uses the mouse wheel. The clicking was so weird. Okay, and we have the other maps behind that. We have Atacama for Hera, love that. And a map that I think could be really bad for Hera, the mind game map. Maybe not too many mind games because it's only map number 5, but Regicide Fortress.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. I love to say Arena. I love to see Regicide Fortress here. And as I said, it's the last game, so it really is going to depend on what civs are going to be left and what civs are going to be picked in order to make this one an advantageous situation. And I assume that they're going to start with the civ draft very soon.
Yeah, I think the mind games are kind of starting at Arena already. Because Caribbean and Dry River, I think, are the maps where the meta is predefined, and you have one pick that kind of goes into that direction, right? But on Arena, lots of strategies are an option. Then we have Atacama kind of as a filler, where like strong early civilizations are good. And then the mind games from Arena are shifting into Regicide Fortress when it comes to the civilization picks.
Yeah, that's for certain. On Arena, everything is possible. There are very, very good civs. There are different approaches that you can go for, even though people say maybe it's a bit stagnated concerning the stress that you have access to. I don't think so, but I'm not so sure. Is it really 900 HP there, or was it 1.8k?
Otherwise, we would call it Arena with an I, right?
Right, as well, but I thought that looking at these civs, yeah, that's fine. So they're going to start with the bans here, and right away, something as expected, Indians being banned potentially for Dry River here.
Yeah, the question is, do you really want to ban Indians here? But yeah, okay, I can see that. And the first pick is going to Hera, so it kind of makes sense to just eliminate the one clear civ when there.
Yeah, so Vikings being banned by Hera just to make sure that Villese is not going to get it on Caribbean, for instance. First pick by Hera is going to be Aztecs.
Oh, that looks very strong to me on Arena, on Atacama, and potentially as a Dry River opening, but I see them on the A maps.
Yeah, I would say so as well. Now Villese just proceeds with Japanese. Pretty much as expected. I see them very strong on water maps lately. They've been shining on that one. Potentially we can see them maybe also on Dry River though, as we've seen previously. And Mayans is the second pick.
Mayans? Obviously the best civilization for Regicide Fortress could also be utilized on Arena. So if Hera now goes for the counter pick with the God, he kind of has to flip the coin. Do I pick them on Arena or do I pick them on Regicide Fortress? Kind of wants to save them, but if he gets outpicked there, he cannot squeeze them at Atacama. Mind games are crazy already. Yeah,
that's for certain. I mean, that is something that the players must be aware of the entire time. Everything they pick is going to be very crucial for the outcome of the game, for every kind of result. And yeah, you got to be just knowing what your opponent is up to, but that's easier said than done. Next pick for Hera is Italians.
Italians indeed, and now following that up with another ban. So 2 strong meso civilizations and 2 strong water civilizations. And yeah, so far it looks like a lot of aggression coming our way.
Oh yeah, oh, Inca's being banned, very interesting, just to make sure that no one's gonna go for some potentially very aggressive tower rush in the beginning to have a nice basis like that. Interesting pick by Hera then.
Oh man, and well, those Suomi players are absolutely capable of doing some stuff. I can see the Inca ban a bit more justified against players like Rubenstock, but yeah, maybe he was scared of that as well and just feels okay. You get 1 Eagle Civ, I get 1 Eagle Civ, even playground.
And we're good, exactly. Even playground there, both civs very good on open maps, but also on closed map it can work. Goths banned by Villese is just something that we've talked about to make sure that there is no potential kind of counter to Mayans. And he proceeds by picking the Huns.
And now please tell me, how does a Registered Fortress game not go in favor of a Mayans player?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I mean, you gotta be. I mean, let me think about it. You got to be so aggressive that the Mayans player cannot play his game. But
ad stacks like Jaguar front, Atl skirms behind that, trying to snipe the plumes.
Yeah, but it can be so vulnerable, right? I mean, especially
can get outmoved.
Yeah, exactly. So that is a problem. Next pick by Hera is Malay. I can see them shine on Arena, for instance.
It has to be kind of the Arena pick, right? Because Italians aren't that great on any others, so that kind of has to go into Caribbean.
Yeah, I would say so. Italians just on the water map. And then we're going to see what Hera is going to pick next, and that is the Celts.
We saw that earlier on Dry River, but from Suomi, didn't work out that great. Yeah, you have the speed advantage, but I think Japanese have the earlier aggression, but Japanese are kind of going to the Caribbean, so I'm lacking some options there. Huns might be just the Dry River civilization, so we are still thinking about Atacama and potentially Arena here for Villese. So Britons, Somalians Atacama, Britons Arena.
It can work. Britain's on Arena is actually great because the economy in the beginning can be very beneficial with the shepherds working fast, and then you can build up some kind of aggression towards the end game with Warwolf traps. It can be a beauty. Against the Malay though, wow, that's going to be quite a task.
Yeah, and you're saying they have a good eco at the start, but not as good as Malay.
Yeah, that is for certain. And Chinese is the last pick by Hera.
That has to be the pick for Registered Fortress, but that shouldn't really work, right?
So we got the Chinese versus Mayans to say. Is that a great one for the Chinese?
Well, plumes are better than Chukunus. If we get onto mass ram and some onagers added, Chukunus do more damage against the rams and can kill onagers a bit more easily. But I still have to give the advantage to the Mayans.
Yeah, especially because of the map design. It's so open with Chinese. Of course, you can push greatly in the late game, but you are also just, you must be in a situation where you can force the close combat, constantly push. You have to direct the attention to yourself, and Mayans are actually the civ that can, surround and do other stuff. So problematic there.
Yeah, the mobility is so much sweeter. You can dictate the fight. The Chinese player has to chase you unless he goes for the very early, like 3TC, forward castle, 70 villager push in the center, which is super risky because if your opponent is getting like 2 mangonels out late castle age, you don't get the map control, you are stuck and will never really advance.
And that would be it. So you were talking about risk. Registered Fortresses game number 5. If it's a 2v2 situation, maybe the strat is going for the risk. We will see.
Yeah, but that's like thinking far ahead.
Yeah.
We're starting off with Caribbean, most likely Japanese against Italians here.
Yeah, I would say so as well. That's going to be very interesting. If we got the Italians, we know that they will be the one proceeding to the next age faster, at least on paper that might work. Japanese still, they got their own benefits on water as well. That's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, a lot of them, and that could be the big difference compared to the last game where we actually were looking at a defensive dock from the Vikings lacking the fire galleys here. Both civilizations, obviously not being Vikings, one of the other 30, having fire galleys, so we could see the aggressive play from both of them.
Yeah, I would say so as well. That is definitely possible. And that should be maybe done also if there's not going to be some landing, if it's going to be water aggression. So I'd say it can be a rather classical game, maybe a nice one.
Yeah, and I don't see Hera being the master of island mind games, honestly. I think this could just be a very straightforward one. And look at that beautiful Caribbean intro.
Oh,
Coming
yeah,
up,
man.
game number 1.
Yeah, that's going to be very exciting. Looking forward. All right, guys, so I guess we're in now. And welcome everyone. Here's DemEyesRed. I'm being joined by Nili. And we have the matchup with Villese against Hera. On the left-hand side, we have Villese in the orange color, or we'll do like this, the blue color. And he has the Japanese. And on the right-hand side, we have Hera with the Italians.
Okay, and as we all saw earlier, everyone's starting on their own island, and we have one island creating a bit more of distance between them. Have some extra wood, some extra gold there, so that could be worth fighting for. If we take a look at potential landings, I see the first threat. The landing from the top could be tricky for Villese to defend.
Yeah, if that really happens, the question is that going to happen? There is, of course, a reason for that one. If you just click up that early on, you could maybe surprise your opponent and then drop a couple of buildings, towers. That is possible, and that map design indeed not so ideal. On the right-hand side, if we look at the map, seems a bit more trickier if you want to go for some kind of aggression. I mean, you cannot surround the enemy island here at all. There's not a single gap that you can squeeze through. So there might be this safety when it comes to sneakers. But yeah, besides that, I would estimate that Hera's map is slightly better in design.
Barry's pretty close, already thinking about pushing some deer to keep his start as good as possible. And let's go into the scenario. Both players are going for that aggressive dog, going for the fire galleys. Who will have the advantage there in mid to late feudal age?
So the thing about that one is time advantage. I would say Hera is going to have hit the time of his life because he will have the upper hand with the Italians bonus. But I think if you got the Japanese, you have such a nice economy, you will be able to get out the ships nicely, and it might be the numbers advantage. And what I'm thinking of is, with the Italians, you must play it aggressively to make use of your strat with your bonus. And that means that, of course, you don't have the defender's advantage. Something that Villese can have due to the fact that he will be the one being pressured. He has the docks close by, he could reinforce faster. I would see something like this being possible.
Yeah, and defender's advantage on many levels, right? Better production, your fishing ships are so tanky. I see a lot of people not adjusting to that properly and just feeling like, oh, I have a first fire galley out, let's kill that fishing ship, and they aren't even tickling.
Yeah, they aren't even tickling. In order to be successful, you must make it happen. And with just a single advantage, just a single ship, that is not going to be it. We're now talking about the dock placement over here for Villese is just... well, pretty much forwards here. The same can be said about Hera.
But compare the deep fish, my man.
Yeah, that's
one
awful.
Directly in front of Hera, and on the other side for Villese. That is so unfortunate. There's nothing close by, and sometimes you need to be forced to go for shorefish, but that's unfortunate position. I don't see 3 fishing ships working on that shorefish either.
Yeah, so you got the Japanese, you want to make use of the bonus, you want to have a nice economy. Is that going to be possible? Well, he's now sending out his first boat here, and he's going to be searching for quite a while in order to find something. The closest fish, he's going to the right direction, but that's still quite some distance.
Yeah, and he will be like, yeah, okay, thanks for scouting that one. I will send another fishing ship to the other side, trust more in him, but he won't have better news for you.
Yeah, there's just some shorefish that I see, and even so, if there's some deep sea fish really far away, that's going to be not going to be nice at all. In comparison to Hera, once again, just right in front of his nose, there is this deep sea fish. And yeah, but the options for him also, I mean, after that one, it's not going to be that much of things that he can get that easily. So maybe slight advantage for Hera. It could be quite huge if he makes use of that.
Yeah, and just look at that. Probably Hera is already having the second, 15 food coming in there with the fishing ship, while the first one of Villese is just arriving, and you can see that reflected. Hera with the nice and early uptime, 9 minutes, 8 seconds.
Yeah, that's really nice. As expected, he's going to click out fast, and in addition to that one, with the nicer fish position, he's going to benefit quite nicely. Villese just getting loom right now, expecting that we're going to see some galleys, fire galleys out pretty soon. Question though is, how is he going to do it? So how is going to be his aggression? Is he going to be successful with the initial advantage?
Yeah, well, we will see. Distance is short, start is a bit better. Obviously, Villese can build more docks at the very top and then should be fine with that. Interestingly enough, Villese is going for another deer. Yeah, and things better of it is now going onto wood. And we need to take a close look at the very top. In other island games, we are normally seeing a transporter being produced there. Not this time.
Not this time. There's not going to be landing. It seems like it's going to be about the water. And there's another villager of Villese now marching forward, exactly where you've mentioned. There's the possibility to drop a nice dock, especially if Hera comes from that direction. That's going to be nice for Villese just to defend himself. In the meantime, Hera's also placed a second dock quite fast. He's ready to go once he reaches the next stage. Looking at his resources, he's going to be able to pump out at least a ship or two.
Yeah, as he obviously should. Puts 4 on goal to lumber camps here. Still keeps 1 villager on food there. And, well, everything looks pretty standard so far. Pop 25 against Pop 22. Villese with his later uptime. Obviously a bit more villagers. Now dock number 3, the one with the map aggression, as you predicted correctly, will be our player in the red, Mr. Hera.
That is very interesting. So, as you mentioned, there's this villager advantage. Let's see if that's going to matter. If he's going to be able to sustain a 3-dock production of fire galleys, that is. Both sides are going for it, but you can see Hera instantly 2 fire galleys, 3 galleys now queued up, 2 of which will be pumped out right away. There we go. And it's now time to, well, make it happen. He's marching forward right now, and it seems that he's going to first test the waters, legit test the waters, and see if he can find some fishing boats or fight off some enemy ships. In the meantime, Villese going for demolition raft.
Yeah, he's gone over there. For now, only fire galley production from him. On the other side, we already see 1 demo queued up, knowing that the aggression is coming from Hera. He's splitting off with his fire galleys. I think this should be a pretty reasonable hold. We'll get the early 2-for-1, but now the demo hit is not happening so far.
Nice of Villese to understand the situation. Okay, I should not waste it. He's going to wait for the right situation, for the right moment. Hera, though, intimidated in the type of way that he's now marching back, but he's just going to reinforce and come back again with, hopefully for him, a nice advantage of fishing, of fire galleys.
Oh, and something really interesting is happening. Fire galley is the dominant unit at the start because it's so good in the 1v1. But in masses, we have galleys as the better unit. We can see Villese already switching into this. This could be tricky for him at the very start, though.
Yeah, that's actually quite nice. But for that one, you need a bit of time. You need to just mass up the galleys, as you said, and then it can be very nice. But for that one, of course, it means that Hera must not interfere in the meantime, right? If he just pulls up the pressure, there's not going to be enough time. But we'll see. For now, Hera is just waiting for the right moment.
Oh, yeah, it's calm before the storm here. Very important for the galleys is also to get fletching as early as possible. Demo is looking to get some connections there in the back, going for some micro. No big fights just yet.
Not yet, but there we go with the demolition raft, and it's about to go up. 1, boat down, another one. Well, okay, was okay. And another one going up. Well, nice one. At least in a way that Villese is now going back, knowing that he cannot engage, at least for now.
Yeah, lost some HP there for sure. It's now 4 against 3 fire galleys. Another one is going down, sending some back for the repair. Hera might be overextending a bit. Galley number still going bigger, but if you're losing the buffer at the front, this should be a bit better for Hera, but it seems like demos are scaring Hera away for now.
Yeah, that is very interesting. So I actually thought, okay, this might be a momentum, as you said, some buffer, and then just make it happen, reinforce, keep up the pressure. But now it's Villese once again pushing back, and that's actually ideal for him because he has now the time to get up those galley numbers, and once he has them, he's going to be able to snipe a couple of fire galleys with ease.
And something we have to mention, since we are playing this one with LAN settings, so 0 lag, galleys are actually better than you are used to because you can micro them so much better. So I think an early galley transition might be actually better than online.
Yeah, I mean, evidently, I would say. It is actually quite a special situation in this LAN that we have this no lag, and therefore, it might really be nice for Villese, but currently still stalemate on water. Now Villese marching back due to Hera's push. A couple of fishing boats intervene as well. And it's
a demo in between the center there, trying to go for some splits.
Ooh, that might be... okay. At least 1 fire galley got hit. Not a decisive one. And Villese now knowing that he must do something, otherwise the red wall is going to approach on the water. So he's trying to push back, making sure that the fire galleys are in the front and the galleys can shoot from the back.
Yeah, but don't you think that was a fight that Hera could have won? If we take a look at the numbers here at the bottom, it's 9 fire galleys at the moment against only 4. 6 galleys behind that, but they're still without fletching. And I don't like the positioning of Villese in so many fights of his.
Yeah, I don't understand what he thinks he can achieve with that, because as we can see, he's now going back knowing that he might lose all of his galleys, many of which being low HP. Now, of course, once he sees that Hera's stopping, he tries to shoot from the back, but that's not going to be the case for too long, because now Hera's pushing and pushing, and still both sides making more ships. Fire galleys from Hera as well as galleys and a couple of demolition rafts. Same can be said about Villese, focusing on galleys and demolition rafts.
Yeah, and galleys very low here from Villese. If he keeps them in the back, that won't be the worst thing though. Let's take a look. Another engagement could be around the corner. I'm still baffled why we do not see fletching, or am I confused? It's still not researched. He got the blacksmith ages ago. He's sitting at 300 foot. How did he forget that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe in the beginning he forgot about it. Then he said, maybe I want to spend the resources for the sake of other things, maybe military numbers. But now we see fletching incoming. It's quite late, man. He could have done so many things with the advantage, but not going to happen now, though. Waiting for it and about to engage once again.
Maybe I did shout loud enough. The slam effect was stopped for now. Demo's going back here, and the longer the game goes, the better the army of Villese gets, because it scales so much better to castle age. The micro possibilities are so much better. Demo's so much more efficient against mass amount of fire ships as well later on. Now fire galleys, and the connection could be here. That's a good one. No, splits around it.
Just split in time. One boat down. Could have been way worse, so well done here by Hera. Speaking of castle age, just looking at Villese's resources here, quite a lot of gold and also a bit of food. He might be considering it. The same for Hera, by the way. Both are stockpiling quite some resources there.
Yeah, makes sense, trying to get to Castle Age. Both still sitting with 200 stone there. No one really trying to jump to Castle Age yet. We are at 19 minutes 40 seconds. Sometimes we see people already in Castle Age here, but this was full out fight, no gloves on.
No gloves on indeed, but what is happening right now? Villese now being chased. He's trying to kite out of his life using the fishing boats. I don't know if it's on purpose, but it's some kind of meat shield here, just to keep it in between the gas and the fire galleys. But I see that Villese is now losing numbers. Only 6 fire galleys left. Only 6 galleys left, that is. And also a lot more fire galleys and galleys by Hera. Doesn't look too nice for him.
Oh man, and he is getting pushed heavily there, blocking himself with the fishing ships. And well, that's what I said. Fire galleys, if they can chase down, they're so good. And the micro of Villese simply not on point here. He's trying to snipe down the galleys, but he's losing all his fish in the meanwhile. Yeah, he will be up to Castle Age, but Hera, look at that. He's waiting for 800 food, 200 gold. He does not know that Italians can click up cheaper.
Exactly, man. Click up right now, and there we go. So there's a difference of what? A minute roughly, right? The question is Villese going to make use of that kind of advantage? As you've mentioned, he lost the numbers, therefore it's not going to be as nicely for him. It was actually well done by Hera to engage as much as possible to lower the numbers. Now we see that Villese is still determined, adding a next dock, 4th dock incoming, trying to make sure that he's not going to suffer any kind of disadvantage.
Yeah, and he has a lot of galleys queued up, as we can see, 7 on the field, 4 queued up. Meanwhile, Hera is going for the galley switch as well. His numbers at 0 though.
Yeah, I mean, wow, seems quite grim. Seems quite grim there. So I'm looking forward to seeing what exactly is going to happen. Villese is now also going for gold mining. I'm expecting that he's going to spend all of his resources for the sake of more and more galleys. Just aggression, just take over the water. He also feels that Hera being kind of pushed back now as he's physically just in front of his base. It might be an opportunity to make still use of the castle age, the early castle age.
We will see about that. So far, numbers not that scary. Overall, it looks pretty even, I have to say. 10 to 8 military now reaching Castle Age. Villese already moving out before clicking the upgrades. Won't have enough resources to click War Galley and Botkin. So he's now moving out with Botkin.
Wow. Not
researching War Galley. Isn't that a debate? And if my opponent is that aggressive after he reached Castle Age, I would be scared if I was Hera.
Yeah, I mean, what is happening, right? Quite interesting. Debate might be a nice word there to make it actually understandable. Wargel is now coming in, but still with a delay. He has Botkin now marching forward. Hera trying to avoid the contact, but at the same time now, the galleys in front of Hera's base trying to harass the villagers that are now gone in order to drop a TC.
Okay, TC quite early here. Hera now going for fletching. Oh god, that's pretty late for him. Adds another lumber camp as well. Ballistics will be extremely late if he adds the TC. Let's take a look. Do we have the university play? Yes, university play from Villese. So he will play it lower eco, high attack.
Yeah, something that I've expected now, as he added the next dog and he went for quite some aggressive stance there. Indeed, with the university, that's going to be even nicer. Speaking of the niceness, Villese is still in front of Hera's base, but Hera not really too happy about this, going for his own actions. Fire ships now marching forward, trying to find their victims, but what exactly does he plan? Trying to attack from the back or something like this?
Yeah, it seems to be a wraparound, but a wraparound if you're losing at both flanks won't really help you that much. Ballistic now on the way. I see Villese dominating this quite nicely, now harassing the wood line here. Should snipe War Galley after War Galley. Ballistic did not finish yet. Now the interruption at the left-hand side, but this could be brutal with all the demos.
Oh my god! Okay, I like that one. That was a nice one. Something that Hera in the beginning didn't expect, and now he just gave in. Said, okay, you got me there. Oh my god, man, he's still trying to take him down. But now the War Galleys of Hera also part of the mix, still with fletching, by the way.
Military count actually better for Hera. He unleashed everywhere. The flank was real. And Villese now completely dropping down with all his numbers. Is queuing up a transport. I have no idea why he thinks there's the breathing room for that. Maybe to distract Hera here at the side. I don't mind the position of Hera at the moment. He's ahead in villagers. Still has 2 more fishing ships. And he's pushing. But I think no ballistics and no botkin at the moment.
Yeah, the number's still so low for Villese that he knows that he cannot engage nicely. But he still does it as he has to, as he's in front of his own base, trying to make use of the fact that there is a very close by dock with a demolition ship inside of it. That this might go up, man. This might be insane.
Oh, that was a sick one. Hallelujah.
Nice one, Villese. Very good. And now he just continues to the north. He marches out with his ship and tries to go for more explosions. So it seems that Villese is trying to engage on both sides, to the south and to the north. Somewhat successful, especially the north looks nice. The south is still dominated by the red colors. Question is, of course, is Hera going to be able to have an impact on this one, or is it Villese's time to continue with the pressure?
We will see. Where did the transporter go? Could we maybe try to spot that, or did he cancel that one?
He still has one transporter, Hera that is. He has one. But where is it and what does it do?
Well, peaceful for now. Maybe you can find it first.
I found it in the north. It's just in the north corner.
Okay, so do enough in, drop some HP.
Yeah.
So water fight is the main action here. And it's continuing that way. Eco will be better for Hera. He will get to Imp earlier as well. He has 3 TCs now as well. This Canadian, he can play water, man.
He can play water. At least he can, you know, survive for as long and to keep Villese somewhat in his place and boom in the background. Something that I've estimated as not as ideal when it comes to aggression at the beginning, obviously, but still he's now making use of that. If you compare the villager numbers here, it's now 54 to 64, 65 now. Both sides without wheelbarrow, by the way.
Villese now catching up there, is getting Bowsaw as well. Still, army fights would be better if we get to the 40 versus 40 scenario. Hera with a score lead for the first time, probably since early Feudal Age.
Yeah, indeed, that might be a nice thing for him. He's going to be able to make use of that for certain, as in actually the reason why he had top score, which is a nice eco villager lead that is. And in the background, he still produces more and more ships, just for the records.
Okay, some villagers going down, forces some idle time. Actually, only one villager going down. That was a nice reaction there by Hera. Quite instantly kills one fire ship behind that. But Hera knows exactly where Villese is. But, oh boy, Villese going for the sneak attack at the side as well.
Interesting. I mean, there's a lot of numbers here on Hera's side. That is, currently we have 19 to 20 ships, so that's also not that bad. But the armies are split up. Engagement in the north and to the south, but to the south now Villese decides to not engage and moves back also in the north. Very interesting. Hera is now in a situation where he can, you know, spread out if he wants to, but is that really going to happen?
Yeah, I think the situation is a bit better for Hera, because he can dictate the fight so much better. Like, I have my full army at one spot, and Villese, yeah, it is sneaky, but if you cannot kill any villagers at the side, then taking good engagements becomes so much more tricky if you have to control 2 armies.
Yeah, especially if you're just split up, have your army at place A and place B. That's going to be very difficult. So what exactly is going to happen? Villese is once again trying to engage here to the south of Hera's base. Killed one villager at least. Question is it going to achieve more than that? I am not so sure. Besides that, though, both are trying to be as calm as possible. Villese is stockpiling a lot of food on the bank, by the way, just saying. Let's see where this is going, but for now, a bit calm.
Yeah, he has a lot of food indeed. Now it's a Monk. Once he gets some relics, we'll take that engagement here in the center. It's 10 against 10 war galleys, but 2 more joining from the top. That's why Villese is disengaging. Oh, there's a lot of fast fire or fire ships here from the top, but Demos could deal with those. This could be another big one.
Ooh, what Hera, does he see it? He doesn't. Oh my god, man, what a kind of late reaction. Getting a couple of ship, nice one, but still Hera trying to reduce the damage here. He got caught, and Villese probably profiting slightly from this very situation as he's traded better, but still not as decisive. Both armies still at the same position, trying to look out for the right moment to engage.
Oh, and I said it's way better for Hera to take better 1v1 fights, but at the moment, or like 2 small armies against 1 big army fights, but at the moment Villese toying with him quite a bit and gets way more damage done on the main island than I thought.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So we have the split up army of Villese, but it's still quite dominant here. On both sides, it is Hera struggling to hold the ground here, and Hera indeed to the north now trying to go back to reduce the damages. Villese now going for Imperial Age, as expected, stockpile that many resources, trying to make use of the time advantage. If you compare to Hera though, keeping in mind that he's Italians, he might be able to click up very soon as well.
Well, at the moment it's 25 to 18 military, so let's take a look if he even reaches Imperial Age with some army left. He's fighting down the bottom army, so that's pretty good for him. Now the movement at the top could be pretty good. One demo connection here could be massive again.
Nice one, very nice. So there we go, Hera is stuck in between, but he's trying to do his best. Also clicked up here, by the way. Both are going for the next stage. Once again, well, it was that 40 seconds difference between the two. Question indeed is, as you said, is it going to matter? Are they going to reach the next stage? It seems like that for now, but Villese is still not happy with the situation. He's still pressuring as much as he can, trying to kill a couple of villagers here and there. Villager count currently 96 for Hera and 63 only for Villese.
Oh man, and that's an incredible difference indeed, and 5 more queued up. Compare that to non-queued up. Thing is, a way better eco only makes sense for you if you can actually get that on the map, and it's 5 docks at the moment, 1 completely denied. The production is still better for Villese, although he has way less villagers.
Yeah, that is very interesting indeed. We would expect that Hera would have a huge advantage over here, but he's the one being pressured. I'm not just, you know, imagining that once he reaches Imperial Age, he might be even considering some landing or so. He's building that castle to make sure that the front of his island is somewhat safe, but I'm not so sure what exactly he has in mind, because there's not many techs being researched.
We will see about that. You could also make an argument for Villese to go for full fast fire ships, since we don't have heavy demos for Italians here.
Yeah.
But Hera, he stays strong on those galleons, gets ballistic now. Botkin is finished for him, and I think both players will wheelbarrow, so very even upgrades now. Transporter, did he try to get cheeky?
No, I just had my eye on it for a while. It's still, I guess, the same one, at least not as significant, but very interesting that it still has survived. I estimate this game to be more in water still, and there's no shift or anything like this, because Hera getting ballistics, adding another dock, both are determined to make this happen on water.
Villese, he has those upgrades coming in for himself. Galleon, Bracer, Chemistry. We have fast fire ships for Hera, wants to use his units quite a bit. And let's take a look at some more docks. Look at that, 1k food in the bank. That's maybe too many farms left if you only go for wood gold units.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you only go for wood units, that's too much, at least for now. I mean, you could also think of, you know, landing and then do stuff with that. Having that many farms is definitely some kind of nice eco, but now it is Villese once again trying to pressure as much as possible. Hera not in the most ideal situation. He's getting a lot of free kills, but now with the upgrade, with the fast fire ships pushing back successfully, the galleons of Villese are now trying to regroup, but they're being welcomed by another set of fire galleys to the north, resulting in Villese's, well, retreat.
And Hera, he really wants to land. He still has 1 transporter left, queues up 2 more, so maybe he wants to go for the triple landing. Obviously, we know the Condottiero, early Imperial Age, incredibly strong.
Yeah, so if you land, if you drop a couple of barracks, that would be super, super strong, and somewhat, yeah, it's very tough to deal with that, especially if you just don't expect it. We have more of an engagement here in front of Villese's base, and yeah, it seems that the fire guys are doing a lot of work. Villese trying to kite it, micro it, going back and forth, shooting, but it seems that he's losing and losing, but that more demolition ships going up And Hera, once again, not reacting adequately, in my opinion, despite the fire ships not being the most lethal ones.
Yeah, he was flanking at the bottom and is killing quite a bit, and we see Villese, he does not get too heavy demos here, and well, he cannot deal with those fast fire ships too well, and he's getting heavily cornered. He's not on stone, so no chance to get a tower defense up here.
Wow. Okay, so that is happening. Villese is completely surrounded. But now something else happens. That is Hera actually landing, but on the middle island. Seems that he wants to get more gold. I was expecting maybe now something sneaky. More and more transport ships, by the way. More and more transport ships. What is happening?
Look at that, we have 20 fast fire ships queued up here for Hera. He wants to finish this game. He's getting the military count down to 12. Could be single digits any second now. And Hera, he's going for the +1 defense upgrade. Condottiero landing is coming in pretty soon. And Hera is all over the face of Villese.
Wow. And also, on top of that one, Hera adding a castle on the middle of the map just to make sure that any kind of map control for Villese is going to be somewhat impossible. And as I said, with the crazy output of ships by Hera, he's just going to make sure that there's no time for Villese to actually do anything here anymore.
Oh man, military count is down to 4 now, and Villese even tapping in and out apparently.
Oh,
and well, that might have been a misclick. Maybe thinking about the next map, and well, we can see him not having a lot of chances. What are his ways to come back? Like, he has no control over the extra island. He
is behind in villagers, by the way, still, right? I mean, if you look at the numbers, it's actually 40 villagers plus. And yeah, it seems hopeless. And I see it. More and more transport ships now marching forward. It might be, judging that Hera is so much stone that another castle is going to be dropped, but it's GG.
Before that. And what a sick dominating game here by Hera. And yeah, look at that face. He is pretty happy. And remember, guys, this was the home map of Villese.
Yeah, exactly. Something we have to keep in mind, because ideally on your home map, you are the one with the advantage. But if you lose on the map that you should have an advantage on, that's a bad beginning, at least psychologically.
Oh man, and well, it just felt Villese switched onto galleys a bit too early in my opinion, and then the very late fletching for my liking.
Yeah, let me just think about it once again. So it was maybe too early, but also he didn't make use of that. And even though he has been given chances to actually make use of it, it was just a bit awkward the way it was executed. At least it seemed like it. Hera was still in a situation where he defended himself nicely. He held the ground, and in the end pushed back very nicely.
Absolutely, and well, look at those faces. We can see Hera, he looks a bit relaxed. Villese still super focused here, and well, let's take a look. Military count. KD obviously a bit weird with all those demo hits.
Yeah.
It kind of felt a bit even, but the production of Hera behind this, so much better.
In the end, it mattered a lot. I mean, until then it was somewhat equal, but when we saw that the galleons were surrounded and the demolition ships doing work despite that, still it was Hera and his crazy output in the end that made it impossible for Villese to come back.
Economy way better for Hera, as we saw several times, added those CCs way earlier. Thing is, Villese went for the early upgrades, but couldn't force the fights. Don't you think that if you have Botkin and Ballistics, you want to have that one huge war galley floor?
Yeah, ideally yes, but his idea was different. He also tried to harass his opponent, but Hera's base, as we said in the beginning, at least in that kind of way, ideal that his villagers didn't die as much as expected.
Oh man, what a great game to start this one off. And well, now the next one will be Dry River. We should expect something like, I would say, Celts and Huns.
Well, let me think about that. Celts and Huns. I mean, Huns makes sense for sure. I mean, you have the open map. You can go for crazy, crazy scouts. Interesting that Villese has this kind of a civ. But yeah, we have Celts by Hera. What kind of play do you expect from him then?
It has to be the Man-at-Arm opening, right?
Yeah.
You cannot play scouts. Archers are so immobile. You can never really engage anywhere. So it has to be Man-at-Arm opening. Maybe something wild like Pop 18, Pop 19, and maybe even aggressive towers. If you control the fish area, you control the game.
Yeah, that's actually right. With some aggressive approach early up and the faster walking man-at-arms, it might be possible to dominate in the beginning and get the fish. A way to make sure that the Huns will not be able to get the map. But the Huns still with the advantage that they are the absolute fastest civilization with the mounted units. So it might be that Villese can make use of this kind of bonus with the mounted units that he has access to.
Yeah, we will see for sure. CA could be a later option in Castle Age as well. I think it will mainly be mass knights, though, if we get into that scenario. But most of the time, Dry River decided before the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. From what we've seen, it has been like that. Still, regardless, it's going to be very exciting to see. Potentially, Kels and Huns, maybe something else, but the other civs might be more useful on the other maps remaining.
As you can see, guys, they are putting on their in-ear headphones and having some white noise headphones over that, so that they cannot hear us while we are shouting like, "Get fletching!"
Come on, make it happen, man. But no, they're all fine. They're very focused. We could even see, at least I see Hera from here, and he's very focused and not distracted at all. So seems good, and I'm expecting only the best here.
So am I, and Dry River, what a beautiful map overlay here as well.
Oh, yeah.
It should be an incredibly aggressive game number 2 coming our way. We will keep the colors with Villese blue and Hera in the red.
All right, so here we are. Once again, as you all know, Villese Hera. To bottom left-hand side, we got Villese with the Huns, and top right-hand side, it is Hera with the Kells.
And
Okay.
both opening with the Shorefish. As we all know, fastest food income that a villager can get there. The Shorefish and needs to send that villager back. Now builds the mill. And this should just be so aggressive. Distance isn't that long. Rush distance, just think about it, like barracks here, barracks
Exactly.
there, and stuff
then
is happening.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, especially with the Kells, it is most ideal to actually play like this because otherwise you would just waste your kind of potential that you have. So that is one thing. For Villese, I would think that he has options with the position of his buildings, but still as forward as possible to make use of the close rush distance that is given. And that is going to be an exciting game. Expecting some early game here, early game aggression. We'll see about this one. Both players now doing their best to get the eco up.
And we see the POV of the both players trying to scout as much as possible with their goats there, trying to get some additional input. Where do I build my lumber camps later on? Maybe some exploration of other sheep, and the scout at the front trying to find the shorefish of their opponent. Look at that click speed that they have.
Yeah, man, APM all over the place. Really lovely. Something that you can always see when he's playing, when he's streaming his games. Really awesome stuff. But yeah, here we are. So they're trying their best to get the EQ up, and then we got to see what else is going to happen. The question, in my opinion, of course, is when is Hera going to click up? Of course, ideally as early as possible, but I'm really curious to see what kind of amount of villagers he's going to have in the end.
Yeah, population 18 is certainly an option. You could go even crazier with something like Persians or obviously the mighty Indians, but I think that should be a reasonable amount, and well, the food just keeps coming.
The food just keeps coming. So far, I'm looking at the vills around the TC, just taking the stragglers. As you said, it's also going to be about the lumber camp placements, when it's going to happen. But for now, they're just luring the elephants, building more houses. At least the Kel's there, the Hunt's there, at least doesn't have to bother with that. And yeah, I see that Villese, instead of building houses, obviously, adds another mill right away. And it might be that Hera even sees that. The more he knows about his opponent's position, the better for him and his men-at-arms it's going to be.
And he does not see it. He sees the mill to the left-hand side, and he was there, and that was super close. Look at it, was one tile away from the exploration there. Won't get the intel.
Yeah, unlucky, unlucky. But that can still happen. Now both scouts going to meet each other, and is there going to be an engagement? Yes, and Hera with the advantage. Very nice. It might be very decisive for the remaining minutes of this game.
And he was trying to debate on the hill there, but I think he didn't get the hill advantage.
But still, oh my
Look at
god.
that.
Oh my god, oh my god. Oh my
That's
god.
one better hit here for Hera, and he is forcing Villese away, gets 2 more hits, did win that scout war, and that's a nice advantage. And Villese, if he wants to go on to scouts, already losing that many HP, something I really hate.
Yeah, I mean, now it's 11 HP to 17. You gotta be way more careful with the lower HP scout. It's very decisive for the map control, also map vision, how aggressive you can scout, how you can make use of that scout if you want to go for the scouts rush, and I assume that Villese is gonna do that. Hera now going for Loon, and he has 18 pop.
And he went for both elephants behind this as well. So, as you said, it will be a different approach. Double mill against 1 mill double elephant. We have the second building, 350 food in the bank. I think Villese will... Oh, he will open men-at-arms as well. As you can see, sending villagers on gold now. Probably looming this one in. This villager will go on to gold later on as well. So he will mirror the strategy of Hera. Hera will have a bit of a weaker economy at the start, but faster moving man-at-arms means he's the one deciding when to fight.
Exactly. With faster moving man-at-arms, it's always a nice advantage. When do I engage? Do I escape? And so on. So that is still a disadvantage for Villese that he tries to mirror. I understand this decision, not going for scouts. He just wants to engage, basically. But what if your opponent is faster than you? So we got to see. There's once again the scouts having a nice chat here, chasing. And both guys going for the barracks. But it is Villese with the earlier barracks. He's already producing his militia. And it might even matter here at this point if they just march out right away. But we see that Villese is waiting. He's trying to wait to have 3 man-at-arms at least. Militia that is.
We just saw Hera's POV and he got debated not running into the TC there of Villese. But obviously, in this map, you have all the villagers on wood or on Chorfish. So not a single villager was in the TC. But he was scared, now sending his first militia to the front. And now we see, he sees some of those walls coming up. I think he won't do too much too early and could potentially run into nothing while Villese is coming around with his militia. And he could do damage to Hera here.
Oh, very nice reactions by Hera, trying to just avoid the contact of the militia and is able to kill the scout. Nice one. So therefore, Villese now with the issue of having no scout. So vision-wise, that's going to be awkward. Hera can still function with his one, and he's now there with his militia. So they were blocked off because there were the palisades, but they are, of course, moving faster. And therefore, we're able to surround the mill, but at least Villese's quick walls.
Interestingly enough, Hera was to Castle Age, to Feudal Age way earlier, but man-at-arm timing extremely even. Now the forward villager here, we have the defensive archer range, 3 on gold pretty soon, and if you get some defensive archers out, that's enough to defend. Meanwhile, Hera moving out without any walls, not that well prepared here compared to Villese.
And there's this one Vill, but he's escaping. But that's a lot of idle time already. Some quick walls going up. That's one flick. Nice one. Oh my god, man, he's getting up the...
No, that doesn't work. Diagonal gates in Age of Empires. Hallelujah. We are waiting for the E to fix that for us. And I think he just rotated the gate there. It could have been the greatest trap of all times, but not today.
Not today. Maybe next time. We'll see. But still, I like the idea. So bonus points for that one. But still, now Hera's marching out here. Villese trying to engage. So he's actually moved back. He's not moving up. He's coming back. And now chasing Villese, and he knows that he cannot actually do something because he's the one being chased by the faster units. Maybe he's going to debate. Potentially he's going to do so because I see archers being in the making right now and might be dragging that into that. But nope, we have the engagement at all here just happening. And as expected, it is Hera actually profiting more due to having more units around.
Yeah. Trying to take the hill advantage was Villese there, but Scout in the back doing some damage as well. And those archers, they need to group up because if he's moving out here, he loses a lot of HP with an archer. Oh god, that's so costly for him. You need the archers to snowball, but that was a costly loss.
So, of course, in a situation like that, if you want to go out with archers on an open map, you need the numbers or you need some counter units able. But in this case, you are up against man-at-arms, so you have the archers. Mass them up. We see the spearman at last. It should have been maybe there earlier, but now it has happened. And no fletching still, so it's still very difficult for Villese to make use of this. But he's still trying to, despite that. Hera is also doing something here, by the way, just trying to make use of his own man-at-arms. While at home, he's adding 2 archer ranges.
2 archer ranges fletching against 1 archer range. Now a stable added by Villese. We did say mobility is the key here for the Hun player, but at the moment, I don't see like 2 scouts doing too much because Hera is going on to archers as well. If he was just going for skirms, this transition might have been so much better. Yeah,
so he adds the stable. I mean, of course, that's going to be a lot of food investment once he gets those scouts out. For that one, you need to have a nice opening, a nice situation in Feudal Age where it's worth to spend this kind of resources. But the question is that going to happen? Because for now, once again, Villese's army marching back here.
Let's take a look. Padded archer armor even for Hera. So he goes full out archers. Defensive tower here by Villese. That's something I did not expect if armies are looking so even at the moment. 8-8. Some attack in the back here. Villager could be saved into the TC. Looks like that she will survive with 6 HP.
Yeah, still worth it because you got the man-at-arms out for a long time, trying to make the best out of it, and still so much idle time being created here for Villese. That's not good. That's not good. That's quite bad here what happens economically. Not so ideal. And then in the background, or towards the middle that is, Hera messing up nicely. What do we have? 8 archers versus 5. and therefore expecting that Hera's going to have some kind of advantage, but there's also more units in total, and Villese is now getting in the situation where he's chasing, but also we got to keep in mind that Hera has paired Archer armor.
Yeah, escape bonding armor there for the scouts, but 2 scouts alone against archers, they just evaporate, right? How can you really engage? It's so easy for Hera to micro back, especially here with 0 lag, and he is taking those out quite nicely. I think this is an even fight, but a way bigger investment for Villese.
Way, way bigger. He has lost more, and therefore nice profit here for Hera. He's still microing with, that's just nice. And in the background, still reinforcing. More archers are being made, and that is actually not the case on both sides because Villese is now switching into skirms and scouts. More food investment.
Yeah, and more food investment means he is delaying his castle age timing. If we look at Hera, I think he's 1 wheelbarrow away from clicking up.
That is true indeed. Going up with wheelbarrow is always nice for your economy. Villese is spending so much, also paired Archer now additionally. He wants to have this kind of fight, but I'm not so sure if he just invests into the right thing, if he estimates the situation correctly. Also with a lot of gold on the bank that he doesn't spend currently.
Yeah, wants to have the counter to the archers. That's naturally the skirmisher, so banking up that gold quite a bit. Still has quite an amount on gold
5
there.
vills. I mean, 5 vills on gold, it's quite something. And you only have 1 archer range, so that is... Wow. Okay, still, Villese is still going for it, trying to do his best, trying to fight off the archers, but still not as effective.
Interesting how well Hera took that hill advantage there. Some archers at the front of the hill, some archers in the back of the hill, up to Castle Age. And honestly, it is an untypical unit, but if Hera just goes double stable knights here, the game is over. He adds a barracks. What? DemEyesRed, what's happening? Is that a pike crossbow push?
Okay, you can also add the siege workshop, but against the Huns, wow, okay, I don't know. I mean, no, Scale armor, I mean, okay, it could be still pike, right? I mean, he has the spearman in the making. I just want to rule out any kind of long swordsman action here, right? That doesn't make sense, right? So, still, maybe siege workshop, pike, siege, like that, or crossbows, still more archers in the making. Unusual, but it might be effective.
What do you think Hera at the moment feels Villese eco looks like? He knows, okay, he was around, did kill some, saw a lot of villagers on gold, did see both elephants there, but also always saw a lot of villagers on those shorefish. He might think Villese could be up as well.
Yeah, he might think about that, but he will be even more surprised once he reaches Castle Age before him, and he's not going to see Castle Age of his opponent for a long time. Therefore, but still, Villese is still trying to build up the pressure. Investing more and more into skirmishes, just for the record. A lot of gold on the bank still. So that's not going too well for him, unless, of course, he's successful with this push, but I'm not so entirely sure. Hera's Castle Age might be a big surprise for Villese, something that he will not appreciate to see.
Well, he won't be that surprised because he knows, okay, my eco can't be that much better, and I'm pushing him back. So, yeah, the push is continuing here. Enough resources in the bank for Hera to go for Crossbowman and Botkin Arrow. Should have a strong army here. Siege Workshop will be tricky. He goes for it to see first, if I know Hera correctly, indeed.
That might very well be. So there we go, Crossbowman, Botkin Arrow, but also towers by Villese. So that is also an interesting one. Heavy investments once again. We have 5 vills forward. It's really not so nice for his economy. And the skirmishes... No.
Some shenanigans here. Okay.
Creative mind for certain. But let's try to see what Hera's actually up for. I mean, we got the crossbowman out, but besides that, not too much. He's just building more and more of them. And Villese at least has clicked up to Castle Age. Good for him, but I might fear that we'll see some Hera push very soon. Going to the left-hand side, he might attack from the flank.
30C on the way as well. Just think about it, like what I wanted to see. The double stable knight switch could just erase Villese from this map.
Oh, of course, if you got the momentum. If your opponent is not up, just go for knights, double stable. It doesn't matter if you got Kels, or just make it useful. So here we are, but as you also said at the beginning, it's Villese adding a second stable, by the way.
A lot of players are normally going for the 30C in the center as well. Just make it here, you will have endless amount of fish, shorefish working for you, but Hera, he seems to be looking more forward to getting a lot of wood and maybe transition to siege afterwards.
Yeah, that might very well be. He's now moving his wood line, by the way, because he knows that the crossbows are there. And they have a specialty that they can actually go through palisades quite easily. And once that is happening, we will see a lot of villagers moving and moving here, unless there's something that will hold them back. And this something might be a nice army of skirmishes, but they're on the right-hand side, and there's a bigger army coming from the left-hand side. Not ideal. Towers are going up, a lot of investments. The economy not so good for Villese, therefore not so functional. Looks grim.
I think he will defend with the skirm numbers. I don't see Hera doing too much. I think this will be quite a passive game now. The question is, Villese playing with 1 TC, and look at his wood and stone, won't be more TCs pretty soon. Does he need to go for Siege Workshop and use his army advantage?
Yeah, I mean, that would be nice. Siege Workshop, go for a couple of nice shots where a lot of crossbows die. The crossbows currently beneath the TC, but in the TC only one single villager, so once again, not too ideal here. Siege Workshop seen by Hera, by the way, on the right-hand side of the map, so he's going for his own mangonels.
Oh man, just passing for sure. Uh-oh, but Spearman going down now, horse color behind this, and yeah, as you said, Siege Workshop is coming up. Not a lot of protection for that mangonel though.
Yeah, true indeed. It could be caught off guard, especially against the Hunts player. But the mangonel primarily used in order to take down towers here. Let's see how happy Villese is going to be about that, how he's going to react to it. And I see Knights now on the move. Knights currently with Bloodlines and +1/+1.
Indeed, and well, we have 4 out, 1 more in production. Those crossbowmen won't perform too well there. Maybe adding a monastery could be an option for Mr. Hera here.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, he either needs big numbers of crossbowmen, or he needs that monastery in order to defend himself. And now the first mangonel going down, and the second mangonel is about to be taken down as well. Nice trade for the Finnish player here. And the question, of course, now, what is he going to make use of that? Is he going to build up a momentum? Is he going to pump out more units? Currently, he got 5 knights out, and yeah, just a single TC, right? So he's still behind.
It is tricky. He is behind by 10 villages, has still a solid army here, right? If he goes to elite skirmishers, has the center control with all his towers still. I think +2 defense knights, 1 TC all in. This is a strategy I would advise him to.
I guess in a situation like this, why not make use of that? At least Hera now finding a response to that, which is the monastery. So whenever he sees a couple of knights, there's going to be some monks, making sure that they're going to be either converted or just going back right after. But okay, you go for an aggressive approach, let's say, add stables and go for +2, which is happening. Chain body now kicking in. But now you got to find your prey, which is, in this case, a couple of villas that are not being protected by TCs. And this is exactly happening now.
16 villager, the advantage for Hera, though I think he is looking mighty fine here if he fights off this one single attack. Monks coming out to convert, as you mentioned earlier. Villagers, well, hopelessly dying. No good answer to the skirms, except the mangonels that got killed earlier. The next one only at 30%.
Yeah, so Hera actually investing a lot of gold, losing a lot of gold as well. That is going way better for Villese as expected, actually. In the beginning, I thought, okay, wow, it's not going too well. But he's actually making use of the situation and marching out, killing the monk, killing vills like that. He has this time here at the moment. He enjoys it, I guess.
And as we just saw, Hera, he needed to evacuate that gold, went for the bottom gold here. Not a lot of income in that regard. Nice positioning here by Villese, blocking those 2 spots. If he gets 1-2 knights sneaked in at the right-hand side gold, that could be beautiful for him.
Yeah, for sure. And he got the hunts. He got a civilization that is mobile enough to make sure that they can act on multiple sides. Back at home, Villese actually added his 2nd TC here, so, and he's even adding a 3rd TC. So I'm not expecting to see too many knights after, but still, the knights are in the making. Currently 9 on the pitch, and another one in the making. Seems that Villese is just not going to let go.
Well, he cannot let go, right? If he just sits back and tries to take the fight there, that's going to be horrible for him. Both players without ballistics so far. Mangonel shot is not really happening. Those knights are coming in. They have all the defensive upgrades. Villagers already pulled preemptively to repair that. Mangonel, what a nice move. Fighting under the TC. Those knights are out of position. There was 4 knights going in, and they are going back. A ground attack behind this. What a sick move. And oh god,
oh
he
my god,
kills his own crossman. He continues to kill his farms. What's happening here?
Another mangonel now in danger.
Kills that one, and he keeps continuing killing his farms. Look at that. Hera, okay.
Hera. Oh my god, man. Wow. Okay, who would have thought about this one? Very interesting. Nice one for Villese. Actually made use of that situation. Very interesting. But still, the situation remains somewhat equal. So despite the burning farms, we still got a lot of knights, a lot of skirms. Where's Hera's Mangonel? There, close by to the TC. Will it be another attempt to actually go for the Mangonel? And there we go, the Mangonel is about to go down. There we go, he's trading so nicely actually.
And Sunday even population here. It is 8 military, make that 7 to 29, make it 5. There's no military left for Hera. How can he defend this? 4 crossmen in production, 1 monk. He has 0 defense to all of this. And I loved the aggressive play here by Villese. He is in full control of this game all of a sudden.
Hera's getting forging, but he's currently not producing any unit that can make use of that. I thought maybe pikemen or something, but nope. He's instead going for more crossbowmen here. Handcart also for the sake of his economy, but the economy is in shambles, at least in the middle. And I see more and more knights in the making by Villese. It's great how he just reinforces, keeps up the pressure like that, making sure that his opponent struggles to actually function properly.
Oh man, and look at that amount of idle villagers is shown in the brackets here. 31, now going down to 25. But that really shows you that the villager advantage is basically non-existent. Nice quick gate here at the right-hand side. Tries to save some of his villagers. That's actually looking pretty sexy. But Skirmishes now just diving under the TC, going for more kills. He's so hungry, and the eco is completely shut off guard. And as we said, left-hand side golds are blocked. Now he's hungry to kill the 3rd gold, and then it's complete lights out for Hera, in my opinion.
Yeah, if he goes to the south now, that's going to be quite undecent here for Hera, and indeed, bit of moonwalk by the knight, and still more and more vills getting caught off guard. Skirms are also looking at this fascinating momentum of the knights here. I see a lot of dead vills. Looking at the vill count, by the way, 66 for Villese and 81 for Hera, and there's wheelbarrow versus handcart.
Some knights here. Villager, is he better than a knight? It looks like. Fight!
Oh.
Fight! Fight!
Oh!
Mangonel finishes it from behind.
Nice. Dude.
Oh, Hera is ready.
My god, man. Hera. Oh, but still the knights are coming in once again. Will they take down the Mangonel? That's another question to be asked here, and it seems like it, man. Oh my god, man. So many Mangonels being sniped. Nice walls once again, as you would say, quite sexy. But the knights now escaping and still able to harass the villagers. Mass harassment inside of the base of Hera. He is about to lose the game if it continues like this.
Oh man, simply not climbing in those military numbers. 31 to only 4 more crossmen are going down. Either villagers constantly. I think he needed to use his stone to get some defensive towers up, because at the moment it's way higher numbers than he can actually use.
Yeah. Indeed, it is like that. And I see also the foundation by Vilese's siege workshop in the middle of the base of Hera, actually. So if he gets that one up with a single hero villager, then I'm expecting a couple of Mangonels actually trying to imitate what Hera did here, but against Hera, meaning that the TCs are about to be in danger. The vills are still constantly dying, man. Everywhere I look, I see knights still doing their thing. And that just doesn't end here. Villese now with the villager lead, by the way, 88 versus 71.
Oh man, this is so brutal. He's trying to convert. Now the converted knight's actually pretty good against the skirmish aggression. Going for TC number 5 here is Mr. Hera, and it feels like maybe Villese is spreading himself a bit too thin. It was 30 army to 4, now it's only 18 to 4, and Hera up to 5 TCs can maybe do something, but aggressive siege workshop coming up.
There we go. There's a siege workshop, currently nothing being queued up, but I'm expecting the Mangonel at least something like that. As long as there's not much cavalry by Hera here, we see the 2 converted knights. Once that is done, I think it's going to be a nice time for Villese to actually build up more pressure, meaning the TCs being under siege. And still more knights in the making, more vills in the making. Man, that's going to be really tough for Hera to get out of this situation.
And you know, behind this Villese, he is playing this map to perfection. Not a single farm to be seen here. He did build one, but probably even cancelled that one, or at least didn't reseed it. He is going for full shorefish, full food efficiency. If we compare food income, look at that, 950 to 480. He is out fooding him so heavily.
Out fooding indeed, man. I mean, you got 10, 11 idols for Villese. Okay, doesn't sound too good, but Hera got 25 here. He actually has a 50 villager economy currently, doing some stuff. And that is not adding up nicely. Hera also going for the market, by the way. Trying to probably sell the stone that he has.
Maybe even buy the stone and build a defensive castle. That could really help him, like a defensive castle here, or maybe a defensive castle next to his gold spot might be even better. But the ram already waiting, and still not a lot of military to protect that. Will be extremely tricky for him. Keeps massive amount of idle villagers here as well.
Yeah, so you could maybe afford a bit of safety by buying some stone and then get it up. Question is, of course, does he have the economy to sustain something behind that, to actually make use of it and push back eventually one day? It doesn't seem like this, at least for now. It depends on how aggressive Villese is going to remain. More and more siege in the making, by the way. So there was a siege, there was a ramp, and also mangonel now. So I'm expecting more pressure, and on the right-hand side, still a lot of knights trying to harass the Vils, at least keeping them idle or letting them die.
He has botkin arrows, so doing a reasonable amount of damage with the TCs against the Knights. Monk production is continuing, numbers not that high. Villese has enough stone for a castle. Where do you want to see that one?
Well, let's think about this. Between those minerals here in the middle, just to the northeast of the siege workshop, to make sure that there's no hope anymore, even if he stabilizes.
Yeah, would be a lovely place for sure. Those villagers even fighting against the Knights, I don't really get that. Skirmishes here to clear up the spearmen as well. Let's take a look. Is he sending any villagers somewhere? 800 stone for him in the bank. Now defensive castle for Hera. Wanted to build it at the left-hand side, but probably has to build it here at the right-hand side simply because that's the only spot where he's not getting raided, at least for now.
Yeah, at least for now, and he's only saving a tiny portion of his base. I mean, it's still essentially what he just saves with that one, but man, Les is not going to let go. He's even going for light calves, making use of the gold, of the food that he has. Very interesting, actually. Doesn't he think about imps? So he just estimates it to be just okay. Just flood in with all the remaining resources, transform it into light calves, and go for the massive, relentless raid.
I think he knows, okay, if we get this one to a massive castle age fight, I have all the map control, I have so much better income with all the free food at home. Just spamming light cap could be so good. Now we see the point of view here of Mr. Hera, tries to go for some conversion from the back. Villagers there to fight down the mangonel, goes for some repair. Monk being produced, mangonel behind this as well. Needs to cancel the mangonel to get some more monks, but is running out of wood and loses that TC. Another heavy loss for him.
Yeah, a lot more villagers now under attack. They're moving, idle time, and all of the things. And there we go, it's GG.
Oh man, and what an intense game number 2 here. And
wow.
Oh, I think that was the sickest emotion I've ever seen from Villese. It was a quarter of a smile there.
Wow, really, man. No, that was a great game indeed. So it definitely deserved a smile there. So yeah, was a beautiful one. Very nicely done by Villese. At least in the beginning, it seemed very grim for him, but he did his best and came back from it and just made it happen.
Oh man, and I mentioned earlier the food eco behind this was so good. What, like, wasn't he up to Castle Age so much earlier that he should have done something? It's so surprising to me how Hera was up 3 minutes earlier, but another 2 minutes after Villese got Castle Age, he suddenly had all the aggression. Yeah,
so he actually went for what? Crossbowmen and a bit of spearmen, I guess. Maybe the idea was pikemen and crossbowmen, but maybe it would have been better if he just went for more crossbowmen and maybe added the siege, but against Hans is problematic. Maybe he thought about the cavalry and just wanted to be able to counter everything that might be expected.
Yeah, and we will take a look at the achievements here. KD, in the end, Villese obviously killed massive amount of villagers all game long, even erased some TCs here. 4 buildings lost. It was close, could have been 3 farm kills by Hera himself.
Potentially, yeah, the 3 farm kills. And 1 TC then in the end. For sure, still well done in the end. And yeah, largest army. Hera also had quite some army, but that was more in the beginning where he has archers and crossbows out, and in the end it was all about Villese here.
Oh yeah, we will see that in the timeline. The dark red should be very minimal. And yeah, look at that. Castle Age timing close to 4-minute difference, but Hera could not use it. I will ask him about that. And Villese, 146 villagers. In some game, I would say an overboom. In this game, I would say nice play.
Yeah, nice play indeed. I definitely agree. That was a beautiful game indeed.
That dark red is so minimal. As you all know, guys, light colors is economy, dark color is military. And yeah, he just got it shut down once and could never get up to reasonable numbers. And Villese stayed up very steady there. Lovely, lovely play by him.
Lovely indeed. So that was a beautiful game. And I am looking forward to seeing more.
Indeed, 3 more maps, potentially at least 2. Arena is next. We will be back after a small commercial break.
Exactly.
rest room break used to thank our sponsors and give them another shout out. And next up could be another potentially long game. Both of the earlier two games were probably longer than an average game on those maps.
Yeah, I would say so. So normally I would say maybe then the expected longer game will be shorter, but I don't think so. I don't think so. There's a lot of potential for it being a long one.
Ooh, let's take a look at the crowd here. Obviously, during the games, everyone is sitting there intensely watching at the screens. We have some of the CA team. The Lord obviously taking the center of it. We have Eddie in the red there, some people hugging in the back, those are the Dutchies, the CA team is around, and a lot of people twittering at the front, hashtag Age of Empires. Kamigawa, we have BBQTurkman in the red, and here we can see Villese, super focused.
Super focused, man. There's a reason for that one. He has been delivering quite nicely in the previous game, expecting more and more also from this man over there, which is obviously Hera.
And they are playing for the beautiful trophy in the back of them, and we are ready to jump into arena. The wind is blowing onto those flags. We have the relic around, the beautiful deer, the boar on the outside. Isn't that a pretty picture?
Oh, for sure, man. For me, definitely, as an arena connoisseur, seeing this one with that many HQ graphics, obviously beautiful. And there we go, game is starting.
And I will jump into the action here as well. Left hand side. Whoops. Ooh.
All good?
Oops,
is that good?
Maybe we show the players again. That's the moment where the co-caster takes over.
Yeah,
and
obviously, I was just interestingly looking at what you did.
We can take it over here. And, well, let's introduce the players and the civilizations here.
Let me make it up with that one. So what's up, everyone? Let's go. On the left-hand side, we got Villese with the Britons, something that we've expected. And on the right-hand side, we got Hera with the Malay. So, obviously, two strong civilizations. Malay, of course, seen as one of the very strongest civs on this map.
Indeed, we could see some very tricky openings. We have seen some sick ones from Mr. Tato the other day. I think it was like Pop 21 opening towards
like
Feudal
that,
Age, then get Deco upgrades, and then play Pop 31 towards Castle Age. So that could be something tricky. Something beautiful for Hera is certainly the free food, double berries, and deer close by at the top.
Yeah, I just want to say it for the record, the walls are indeed 1,800 HP. So I assume that at least some casual or classical crushing is most likely not going to happen unless there's an opening for some hopping. But even that one, I assume, is not going to be the most doable thing here.
The map for Hera would be great to defend potential tower rush. The map on the other side, if I find the second stone, that would be a pretty bad map against the tower rush. Yeah, we cannot do any hopping here with two normal stone walls, but look at the positioning of all the 3 golds and the 2 stone spots here. That could be a horrible map if Hera decided to go aggressively, which obviously is an option with Malay.
Yeah, obviously. There's a lot of chances for that one. You could even, say, all right, I'm just going to go for a fast castle and drop a castle over there, and already you could deny potentially a stone, a gold, maybe this primary gold of his opponent. So there's a lot of possibilities to that one as well. Looking at the relics real quick, just pointing out that they're equally distributed. There's no real relic win here. The map generation had some mercy, I would say. So that is one thing. And the scouts doing that job by looking at the map.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense, trying to find the extra resources at the front. And yeah, all the relics spawning outside the bases, as is ECL standard. The question is, did Hera properly scout his back? I would be surprised if not. Yeah, and he sees everything. So far, so good.
Yeah, I also like by Villese that he knows about this additional gold that you have on classical arena. You have the phenomenon that that couple of random resources can spawn inside of your safe zone, so to speak. That one is very safe indeed. So yeah, now of course once you've scouted the map, it is time about to just push the deer here. In this case, Villese maybe not with the best deer patch, which is behind this woodline, but still I am very positive that he's going to be succeeding in that one.
Yeah, and some people would say, like, why is he pushing this deer so late? He knows that Hera could be up to Feudal Age quite nice and early. Therefore, his scouts become his scout becomes better, and Villese would lose any scout wars. That's why he went to the outside and is now pushing some deer in.
Exactly. So we got two different civs here. Britons are known for their economy on this map, but of course with the Malay you all have a very strong civilization, can be very aggressive, can make use of the early uptimes, and therefore it's not as easy as one would imagine with a strong civ like the Britons. VS the Malay, a lot of possibilities that Hera could go for to make it a nightmare for Villese. Let's see what exactly he is up for, but we'll see that once we see when he clicks up, what kind of civ distribution, villager distribution he has, everything to be seen shortly, soon after.
I honestly feel that Hera might not go for the second berries.
I mean, having extra berries is obviously great. RNG, once again, really nice there, but yeah, is it nice? I mean, obviously you have the deer and the berries there, right? So mill could be cool, but I'm not so sure.
Uh-oh, this is a feudal play, my man. Look at that, he goes for one lumbercamp, now shoots the deer out. Get out of my woodline, he says. And, well, the deer, scared of that bow, is going to the other side.
Wow.
Look at that, so many villagers on one woodline, 6 here. That could be... I'm confused. What are we witnessing over here? Why is that not a 2 TC build-up, 2 lumbercamp build-up?
Very interesting question indeed. I mean, you could estimate this as a very nice lumbercamp position, but still, efficiency normal is seen by having 2 lumbercamps. One lumbercamp suggesting something more aggressive, but we'll gotta stick around and see. So currently we have Hera with 23 vills. 2 are queued up still. Let's keep in mind that they progress so fast that they can go for, they should in many cases go for more villagers and still click up at this decent time, be up at the decent time. So we'll see. For Villese in comparison, he has 2 lumbercamps, so everything seems quite normal. Adding 2 vills for now on gold seems rather classical.
Yeah, and he had reasonable spots here as well. He knows about that. Now sends villagers on to gold. First villager, is that on stone? That is on stone.
There we go. But also on gold, by the way. So I'm asking myself what he does with that.
And that's where I jump in while we see Hera seeing some deer push in. To sell stone in the market, you get 91 gold. So he's collecting another 10, putting him up to 110, and then sells the stone to click up. That will be a no loom, no gold collected boom. Probably 2 instant extra TCs and an incredible fast boom, but extremely vulnerable to any aggression.
Exactly, so the pure boom is definitely something that we've seen on Arena, especially Arena with an I, where you have 1.8k HP. So, as you said, you are vulnerable because you go for legit no aggression. You even, if you play like this, give away the map like that, but you are safe behind your strong stone walls, and you might consider just being so strong and then come back even stronger in the late game, where we know that Malay got a lot of options.
Yeah, and he is choosing the option of the big boom. We see Hera, he is just jumping to feudal age here, clicks up a minute later and gets basically up at the same time there. Meanwhile, Villese with 3 on gold and the barracks, that will be an archer range opening. If he goes for crossbowman and siege tower hop, we could see a 15-minute game.
Yeah, indeed. So that is something doable. Yeah, I mean,
17 minutes.
Yeah. Let's be realistic here. Nah, indeed. So he's going to add an archer range and then a blacksmith. At least that's the classical approach. And there we go, indeed. And then once he reaches castle age, dropping a siege workshop and hop over eventually. And then cause some havoc inside of his opponent's base. That is the thing that can happen. So Hera got options over here. He could defend himself. He either, walls up, builds a building wall, or he just goes for palisades and just make sure that there's no place to hop over on. So that is a possibility, but we gotta see if Hera's gonna be able to detect that. Currently he has a forward scout. He fears that, or he's at least expecting that something might happen forward dish, and he's just trying to do his best to see that as soon as possible. We have 6 vills on gold for Villese.
And he is going for the second layer wall, trying to defend against any potential aggression, but he has no back gold. So just think about it. If he's building the gold over here, the TC over here can be killed by mangonels. If he's building the TC over here, crossbow can just deny the gold regardless. So I think he will completely struggle for gold control against any aggression coming from our bridge player, who is already going for the archer production.
So that is true indeed. What we see by Hera here, by the way, he is now heavily on stone. I'm expecting that he's just going to drop a castle there to cross the plans of his opponent. Does that make sense? I would say so.
Nope. Oh, that's a lot. Maybe it's just a defensive castle over here.
Yeah, I'm saying he's just going to drop the castle and then defend a goal like that. It's not ideal. but still, what is going to happen, right? No, that's a TC.
That's a TC. And that's what I said. This is like, he needs to build the castle next to that, and then just play the imp game. But Melee, is that Elephants? Is that Karambits? It certainly has to be something with Skirms as well.
Yeah, certainly something with Skirms. If you're facing the Britons, that is going to be, unless you do that, I mean, it's going to be not ideal at all. Villese is now going for the next stage. 15-22 there. Scouts are chasing, and it seems that Hera is about to lose that one if he does another mistake. Question, of course, is where is Villese going to drop a forward siege bar shot? Because I don't think that he's just solely getting the map control over here. The TC is being added as well by him. Let's see.
That villager is up to no good, does not have loom, he has 10 gold in his hands, and I'm pretty sure he is moving forward to build indeed that aggressive siege workshop. Scout actually went down.
Wow.
So that is a 1-for-1 trade that I did not expect. Stone is up. This could be pretty ugly though. If you build the castle too far forward, those crossmen could deny it. Yeah.
That might even happen, depending on what Hera does now. He has no vision. He doesn't know that these troops are going to be incoming. The forward villager without loom also on its way. Quite, let's say, confident of Villese to duel like this. He might lose that build very easily, but there's no aggression by Hera. If we look at him, he's just still on stone. He's determined to get this castle up. Of course, the question is where to drop it, but the siege workshop up in front of Hera's base soon.
Okay, Villese is running around, tries to avoid the line of sight of the gate, now moves in over here, and maybe was trying to catch some villagers on the wood line of guard, but that's not going to happen. Crossman can see, want to see, but that is it. Was hiding the villager behind here as well. We will see some aggression, but the castle should prevent that.
Yeah, if it gets up early enough, then I think that is going to be just it. Then it's going to be just a slow game. The question is, or the situation is that Hera is then, he just has limited gold, right? He has his primary gold and a bit of stone. At some point he needs to get out. At some point he needs to get extra resources. That is going to be easier said than done because Villese most likely is going to take over the entire map.
That's a horrible castle.
What? Oh.
That's a horrible castle. It's not protecting the gold at all.
What does it do with that?
It's like stopping a push from the left-hand side, but he needs to protect the gold. The castle has to be over here. This is protecting nothing here. If Villese is just going with the mangonels over here, like, what are we doing? Some karambits into nothing?
Karambits into nothing it is, maybe. Let's hope not, of course. But there we go. The crossbowmen have sighted the castle, and a couple of those are being harassed already. There we got the mangonel. So that's bad timing here for Hera, and it's not going too ideal. The TC is under pressure. So yeah, as I said, man, what you're going to do in this very situation, you must actually now go out and actually take these units down or something like this because of this very castle placement.
And he will lose the market behind this as well. Now defensive siege workshop. Yeah, okay. Congratulations to that. You will always bug out and you will have the less range against the crossbowmen.
Yeah, yeah. That is going to be a tough one here. I don't really understand this very decision of Hera.
He can't finish the siege workshop either.
It's not going up, right? I can click on it. No, it's not going up, man.
Villager advantage at 13. So there he got a lot of stuff working behind this, but Woodline is harassed over here as well. Those crossbow still without Botkin though. So sitting at, oh no, with Botkin. So have the 8 range, more crossbow ahead, and with all this aggression, Villese still gets 3 TCs behind this, so he will, I think, even, well, not 4 behind in the villager deficit.
Yeah, I also agree with that one. So, still, we have Hera heavily on gold now because he needs resources, he needs to get that mango up and then defend himself, but he's in a disadvantaged situation versus these crossbowmen. 5+3 range and more mangonels also being added by Villese, so Hera's in a situation where he must not trade that bad. He actually needs to go for an equalizer or ideally kill more mangonels than he's losing. Let's see how
now coming up. Mangonel is coming out here, could get a good shot off. I think Villese's positioning isn't the greatest one. Is splitting away though.
Nice reaction, nice reaction.
And continues to do damage against the TC. Dances around the crossbow around with 1 more range.
Careful,
and it's impossible to repair. The TC is protected a bit by the castle at the top though. Still without fletching. Let's take a look. Mangonel is going for the dance.
Still not very successful. A couple of lower HP crossbowmen, and there we go. Once again, another shot attempt, but not happening. Or is it? No, they're still constantly attacking the TC. Well, Hera's trying to defend himself, and there we go. First connection, still not decisive.
Man, and repairing the TC costs double the normal cost. Now the Mangonel in between there. And remember, this is zero lag. They are incredible in microing online, but offline it's even sicker.
And so nice done.
Nice ground attack,
my
though.
God, man. Nice, nice. Okay, so that's a good start. But now you needs to get another one, man. Ooh. Nice splits. Villese. Very nice.
Splits indeed. Villagers are going down though, sitting next to that. And this is, I believe, okay here for Villese. Second Mangonel going quite aggressively though.
Okay.
1-for-1 trade. Gets those crossbowmen out at the side. Not a lot of more repair happening at the moment. Mangonel 2 queued up for both players. They know that the Mangonel dance might decide the game here.
Yeah, true indeed. Especially for Hera. If he loses that one, that's going to be game over for him. Of course, he's going to be pressured like there's no tomorrow. And there we go, another Mangonel going up. Just killing a crossbowman. Villese is still up there, producing more and more Mangonels. He just doesn't want to give away the position that he's in, but losing another Mangonel like that, and also crossbowman. Very nice by Hera. Very nice.
Oh, Villese probably watching at home for a small second, and heavy loss. This is the big problem. If you go for the aggression, you need to watch at all times, and the defender, he can decide when to watch and when to micro.
Oh, trading
wins
so
another
bad.
one. This is so good for Hera.
Yeah, man. That was really, really important for him. Otherwise, man, it would have been way more different. Villese would be all over the place. But now it's actually Hera's time to go out here and make sure that he pushes Villese back adequately to actually gain some more freedom. Ideally, even securing more ground. I would like to see him securing the northern part of his base, that additional gold that he has access to, that he would be able to have access to. But we'll see, because Villese is still not giving up and at least getting a Mangonel, but still the trade is better for Hera.
700 stone in the bank, wants to go for another defensive castle, but saw Mangonel will be tricky for him. Loses another one, and that's a 1-for-1 trade in the bottom. I think this should be better here for Villese. Goes for the split, kills more villagers.
Yeah, he does kill more villagers. Oh, nice splits all the time. The crossbowmen are actually the real winners here, then just not going down. That must be quite frustrating here, but still, good job here by Hera. Not giving in here, but still, the problem has not been solved. It's still going on. Question, of course, is what is going on down in the background. 85 vills for Hera, Wheelbarrow versus 73 vills by Villese with Wheelbarrow. He's not falling behind significantly. Both equals are somewhat acceptable.
Another defensive castle here. Why did the crossbowman move down to the bottom? Probably did fear...
Yeah, he just wants to save him, I guess, because he's also about to click up, right? Villese, if you look at his resources. But he's going forward once again. He's going for the Arbalist upgrade, but that's going to take some time. He's producing more and more archer ranges in the middle of the map, so we'll see where this is going.
Oh, and you don't want to micro against 3 Mangonels. Maybe with 1 Mangonel yourself. Oh, does double damage.
Nice one, nice one. 2 times 50% there. Villese has clicked up and adding more archer ranges. So ARPs all over the place. That is at least a plan. And also castle in the middle, just to make sure that he has somewhat of a secured ground that he can always work with. And you know, once it goes to the trebuchet fights with Britons, that's going to be a bit awkward once he gets Warwolf.
Yeah, Wolf, obviously a beautiful upgrade there, but that's something for the future. For now it is 2 castle against 1 castle production. In timings should be a slight advantage indeed of the 29 seconds there and the power of melee. But what's the army transition? Might it be skirms?
Yeah, he's adding archer ranges, so there's the hint. He's also getting botgun. Yeah, I mean, he could also make use of his archer line, but I don't think that is useful against the Britons in this situation. Rather go for the skirms and add something else. So you need another component, of course. So that is the real question here. For now, there's no hints, just botgun arrow.
Skirms feel like a likely choice. Maybe some onagers, maybe some bombard cannons behind this. The snipers could be pretty sick behind this though. 250 stone in the bank, maybe sending some more villagers on stone to get a second castle up and just play mass traps could certainly be an option. Let's take a look. Another Mangonel dance.
There we go, and oh yeah, trading evenly once again. All good, all good. Elite skirms by Hera, he's also on the way. He even has a bit of an advantage here timing-wise. Let's see what he's going to do with that one. It's not going to be the end of the world that Villese is up 36 later. But there we go. Still, I feel that Hera needs to, you know, definitely secure the ground that he has currently. That gold is important. He is out of stone, actually, if I see that correctly. So he also needs to actually consider the south after some time, but the real action is taking place in the middle.
Yeah, and it was so action-packed. Villese did not find the time to collect the relic, something I would have really loved to see from him. He had all the map control. He could have gone for the monastery that we now just heard, and he is going to collect some. But behind this, having all 5 relics and having the extra gold spot at the top could have secured him good chances for the very late game as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So let's see where this is going. Villese is now going for Bracer, Chemistry, just making sure that his archer line is going to be maxed up concerning their strength, but still no Arbalist upgrade. We see the first trap by Hera. He's starting the trap one. That's a little advantage for him, but he's also, that is Villese, getting out his own trap, and he's going to make sure that he's adding a second one, whereas Hera doing the same thing. So it's still even out at this point, but of course ideal for both of the pairs not to lose their castles.
At least no upgrades on his castle yet there, and that means he is still taking quite a lot of damage. Trap production continuing for both players. The only unit that has the big range here. Mangonel shot could be pretty good, but not connecting. That's sick.
Yeah, that's sick, that's sick.
Oh,
nice! That must hurt, man. There we go. Mangonel going down as well. That's the momentum for Villese to actually march forward. Let's see. He has 2 trebuchets out and constantly firing with his long-range Arbalest, 5+5 that they currently have. The number of skirms going down significantly with that very move. Also, the trebuchet going down, not ideal at all. If we keep in mind that if Villese even considers Warwolf, it might be even more of a dark situation. Hera, as a response, going for more archer ranges.
and it was just the moment where we felt Hera could take control, could take all the fights with the skirmishes against the Arbalists, but suddenly the Arbalists are taking out the traps. This was a complete game changer there. The traps are now moving forward. The archer ranges could be taken out. The castles could fall. Hera is building more archer ranges to the front, where he's getting pushed back to begin with.
Oh my god, man. So what kind of situation are we in? We have 118 vills for Hera, 109 for Villese. So both with strong economies, but more military, more of the significant and strong military for Villese. And he's just not stopping, making sure that the castle is now under fire. Hera trying to protect himself with his own trebuchet, but we see it coming. Warwolf incoming, man. Then the trap war will be very tough.
Yeah, no chance. They're getting 100% accuracy and doing the splash damage. They're absolute beasts from long distance here from our Britain's player. And, well, the thing is, not a single trap in production. The only defense I could see could potentially be something with bombard cannons, but that's not only with +1 range.
Yeah, that is... I mean, that is very important to mention, and also, you know, it's going to be very, very expensive to actually commit to that, and Hera is just losing the front, man. He's losing the front. And now that we have Warwolf, as you said, splash damage, if he was to actually connect with the skirmishes there, even they would go down. But I'm not so even sure if that's going to be even relevant at this point, because Hera's losing the front, and that's not good for him, because he needs the resources in the front of his base. He's about to lose it.
And another castle there. Relentless push from Villese. Skirmishes are now moving in. Spread formation. Does not want to take the massive amount of damage. Tries to split around that. Kills this Mangonel in the back there. Or is he? At the moment he needs to disengage. Mangonel went down to 13 HP. The other skirm at the top can't finish the job either. Traps are moving forward. And skirms, they cannot engage against the traps as well.
Yeah, it's a huge problem here, and I'm failing to find a real strat against this right now with this emergency situation for Hera. He's just falling back, and he's now going for BBC, by the way. That's his only option, you know, just trying to snipe the traps like that, but easier said than done, especially with the Arbals being close by. It's problematic. If that's not clear, it's problematic. Elite Skirm for Villese is just kicking in just to make sure that he fills in the gap. Also a couple of trash units and mix in that one. Will be nice of a pressure method.
He has 133 villagers, so feels okay. Let's add in some more archer ranges, and indeed the skirmish attack there wants to get his military numbers a bit higher. He can really support it with his great eco. Now catches up with handcart as well, or gets ahead there.
Yeah.
And those traps, I think if they reposition themselves, there's no stopping to them.
There's no stopping to that because there's no more castles. And very soon also no more BBC production here. To the back, he's placing more archer ranges. That's completely reactive by Hera. I mean, does he have more chances? I mean, obviously he's limited in that, very concerned, but just skirmishes, just BBCs, it seems that it's a situation that Villese is going to be able to deal with, and it's not going well for Hera at all.
Oh man, skirmishers are getting some nice snipes at the front. Now the kids could come in here though, gets a solid volley at the front, and well, the Arbalists are just winning the fight. The skirmishers need to micro so much, and we can see in the volleys there from the traps just raining in.
So nice, man. The Warwolf tech just making the best out of it. There we go. Oh, and there we go, GG!
Oh, and another smile there from Villese, and so justified here. What a clean play. It felt like Hera did decide on a strategy before the game and didn't take a close look at the map.
I would fully agree with that one. I mean, what we've seen is, I want to go for the boom, he even struggled that gold and whatnot, but yeah, he didn't look at the map, right? He had a really bad map and that very concerned. He was actually in a situation where he should have gone aggressive. He hasn't done it, and therefore, this very situation that he was in the end of the game.
Oh man, and yeah, I think Villese could have done a better like way of aggroing if he just comes from the very top, because then the Mangonel bugs out with the TC and it's an easier fight for Villese to take there. But well, he forced Hera to go for another castle that was super delayed. The eco was so good behind that, and then there's one big Mangonel shot completely let his Arbalest snowball.
Changing the game like that. It's also a question, what would have happened if he placed the first castle in a different position, despite actually being the winner of that Mangonel fight initially, but still, it didn't go well for him in the end. Well played by Villese.
Absolutely, and taking a look at the statistics of the game, KD, well, simply if you lose 30 skirmishes in a blink of a second, it's tricky to be ahead in the KD.
Yeah, that's for certain. I mean, those Mangonel shots, and in the end, those Warble Trap doing some nice work. Also, Buildings Race telling us, yeah, it was Villese constantly pushing. Largest army in the end. Hera was not able to actually deliver an army that was adequate enough to fight off his opponent.
Hera had enough wood and food, but rebuilding the archer rangers there at the front, instantly losing those, he ended the game with quite a bit of resources in the bank even, could not get up to the numbers, but even then, I think there was no chance of coming back.
Yeah, indeed. It seemed hopeless towards the end, especially with that map. Stone was gone, the gold was just forward. Yeah, little options that you had at this very spot.
Next map will be Atacama, 2-1 lead at the moment for Villese. We will go into another quick commercial break, even shorter than the last one.
Exactly.
When I first picked up Prismata, I was playing a lot.
325 hours. Yeah, and that was in 45 days.
Pretty much everyone I know from a competitive gaming background immediately fell in love with the game.
You're gonna love it.
Short break promised, and we are back here. Just one spot, and next will be another home map of Mr. Hera. It will be Atacama. This one has to be brutal.
This one has to be brutal. So the question is, what kind of strats will he go for? Obviously, he's in a situation where it's a stressful situation, right? So he's behind now. It's match point game for his opponent. So with that one, he could save the win.
Oh, look at that. Memb even saying, "You saw the bada boom?"
Trying to analyze the situation. There we go, man. There we go. Now they're posing, looking right in the camera. Lovely. Villese having a quick talk as well, together with Zupi, if I see correctly. And in the back, maybe even Pike. I know. But they're having a quick talk over here. And these two gentlemen as well.
Pretty ones.
Oh, yeah. That's for certain, man. So, yeah. Looking forward for the next game. It's going to be very interesting to see what Hera is now prepared to actually make a win possible. Otherwise, he would be out. At least that would be a loss for Aftermath and a win for Suomi, but we'll see.
As you can see, Secret AM, that will be MBL versus Viper coming up next. A tricky one, and then we go into the 2v2 stage, Secret, Suomi, AM, Suomi, and the finisher of today will be AM versus Secret. Pretty damn late for Europeans.
We'll be quite late, but we'll be around. Hopefully you guys as well. It's going to be exciting for certain.
Indeed. Massive amount of action coming up. Atacama, the civilization's kind of predetermined since we have Regicide Fortress after that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So for Regicide Fortress, we already know it's going to be rather Chinese versus Malians here. So what do we have? Malians versus Aztecs.
Absolutely. The thing is, Aztecs, I think, don't perform too poorly against Malians, but Chinese should just heavily underperform on Atacama. So I think Villese has incredible civilizations. Hera could go for some switch around, but would suffer quite a bit.
Yeah, so let's see how this is going to go down with this matchup on Atacama starting right now. All right, guys, so here we are. To the south, we start with Hera with the Aztecs as expected, and to the north, we have Villese with the Malians.
And we are fighting on this map on someone with very little wood. This normally spawns in the center. If we remember the Atacama game earlier, that was one of the, well, more unlikely generations there where we had to fight for the wood at the site.
Yeah.
And just waiting for a small, potentially technical issue here. Let's take a look. Small wood lines, gold pretty nicely in the back, even several ones here for Villese.
Yeah, that is pretty much the case. And in the south for Hera's base, he has the gold to the side. Did I see that correctly? Oh, that's just a turkey. I was just thinking, is that a skeleton already? No, all good. So yeah, his map maybe slightly less nicer generated, if you can put it like this. So he has the forward pushes there. But still, it's going to depend on their playstyle. I mean, with the Aztecs, you have the Civ that can work well on open maps. You got the Eagles that can work nicely. So there's potential for a good game.
Absolutely. It has to be an aggressive one. Aztecs, mass men-at-arms. Malians, mass men-at-arms as well. Who has the advantage there?
Yeah, I mean, for the Aztecs, it's nice that you got the military output bonus. So you can actually reinforce nicer, you can go forward, you can also start nicer, producing the militia there. So I see that there might be a nice one. For Malians, I mean, they got the bonus with the Pierce armor, right? But it only matters significantly if there's a TC close by of their ranged units. So I'd say that the Aztecs have a game here, at least in the beginning.
I think so as well. The economy should be pretty good for both. Aztecs carrying a bit more, and now we can follow the POV of Mr. Hera here. You can see the clicking speed. He's playing the Aztecs there in the bottom, dropping some food, and wants to keep up villager production, as we can see. Queues up another one. More scouting there. We have 3 sheep scouting the bottom for him, and now he goes to the front, the wood line. At the moment, he's still chopping. Now we have Mr. Villese, the one-finger clicker. And, yeah, obviously everyone is playing with friend foe colors, being putting themselves as blue and the enemy as red, simply to see them a bit earlier. That's why we have this color switcheroo.
Exactly, just to make it more convenient for the players, but we here see it the way it is. So, I already spot something, which is Villese actually marching forward and dropping that lumber camp instead of going for the, you know, smaller forests or parts of well, trees that we have here around the base. There was also a little bit of an engagement over here. The scouts said hello to each other, and it is actually Villese taking a couple of hits.
Yeah, one hit there. Would lose the fight against the Eagles, so he better backs off. Could wait for feudal age. Hera with way more scouting if we compare that here. And yeah, as you can see, the sheep doing a great job there in the back, or the turkeys, however you want to call them. Sees the TC here, and the boar sitting under it. Should scout the woodline, and well, that's just an invitation to a lot of aggression. Look how close the 2 woodlines are.
Yeah, for certain. I mean, once they spot each other, currently Villese doesn't see Hera, and Hera does see right now where his opponent's lumber camp is, meaning that going forwards with towers and maybe also unit aggression is quite nice. Very devastating, or you could also just consider going for the units. I mean, going for Eagles or Man-at-Arms in this case and just make it happen. But Man-at-Arms tower is something that we frequently see in this game. We'll see, of course, who's going to be up first, who's going to be up with the pressure first. Questions that will be answered very soon. And also, finally, Villese is fighting his opponent's base. Right now, he sees the mill and the house. Now knowing that there is a straight direction that he must go to if he wants to win this game.
Barracks at the front from Villese here. Could that even be a potential rush into Flash? Or what's his plan? I think that really suffers against the early Mandam aggression.
I mean, that's a good question here. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, the forward barracks here, it's a nice one if he just makes use of it, but I also am afraid that, yeah, there we go. There's also kind of a forward barracks here by Villese here, by Hera. So we'll see where this is going.
Quick question. What were the colors in the game before?
Wait a second. Yeah. I don't remember anymore.
I thought we had Villese with the traps there. Don't you remember? I thought they were blue, right? I think the colors should be right.
Yeah. Just, well, happens. Interesting.
Okay, now going into Villese's point of view, he sees the barracks at the front as well. Will wall some, will buy himself some time, and goes for the man-at-arms later on there as well. Just with an early barracks, will have the nice production rolling for himself. And micros the villagers a bit, and that looks to be 5 on wood. Solid up, click time there, 8 minutes, 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's going into the right direction here. Both with the same amount of vills, already going for the militias. It seems that it's going to be happening at the same time here. Once again, an engagement. There we go. The scouts beating each other, and the villager is part of the mix as well. And walling that area of the little lake, just making sure that there's not going to be any surprise squeeze-throughs or so. And also meaning that the militias need to take a detour to go forward. And I also see Villese is going for stone. Or no, it's a mill. All good.
Tricky stone.
Tricky stone indeed, man.
But what he actually could have done is like send villagers, 5 villagers on stone, and then build a mill with those, drop up the 50 stone, and allow yourself to get a second tower up. But for now, it's more about the man-at-arm production. Both players walled themselves. Actually, Villese, I think he should just delete his palisade and go for the aggression, because Hera, he only walled himself but didn't re-wall behind Villese walls.
Of course, you can punish your opponent like this if he just trusts you, something that you should never do in this case. Delete the palisades, go through. It's nearly something like an invitation here. But soon-to-be man-at-arms meeting up on the left-hand side here, but still being a bit shy, going back. Both are going for men-at-arms and waiting for the right moment. Currently it's 4 soon-to-be men-at-arms by Hera versus 3 of Villese.
Uh-oh, and that's indeed what we said earlier on, right? The scout is dealing a bit more damage again compared to the eagle. Villagers need to be around to fight though, and that means Hera will have a timing. I don't like that Villese is moving out here. Villagers will have to join the party if Hera wants to commit.
If Hera wants to commit, currently he's just going for the archer range, so he just tries to make the best out of his vills economy-wise, but there we go, the men-at-arms are coming very close. Quick walls are up, just in case. Towers are up, something as expected. Denying the one of Villese here. But let's see where this is going. He's still trying to get up the tower, but now he just,
That's a lot of low HP villagers.
dangerous.
Let's take a look. The tower is at 98%. Saves all 3 of them, no losses. Both towers up, and at the moment though, 5 villagers against 3 villagers. That's a massive amount of damage output.
Yeah, indeed. Damage output and of course idle time, but currently Hera trying to do his best to get Villese's tower down. But in the background, also Villese going for archers here, making sure that he will be able to deal with any potential infantry and also be able to raid.
5 on gold at the moment. Now we have the big engagement that we wanted to see this whole time. It seems like an even one. Maybe if the villager is joining, Hera might lose this one slightly.
Yeah, Hera's adding another man-at-arm, but it's too late. And there we go. 3 alive by Villese. I mean, low HP, but still. That was rather a bad fight for him, but all good. No one specific villager-wise has died here, if I see that correctly. A little bit of harassment here and there. Tower in the middle is about to be decided. It's Villese losing this one, but the archers will march forward. And indeed, Palisade is being deleted.
Oh, so he's going for the aggression. Barry's now running dry as well. It doesn't look like Hera has that much wood control to go on to, well, proper farming pretty soon. He has some farms for himself, but that one archer is going down, and that's a heavy loss. Has a sneaky group of 2 archers around together with 1 man-at-arm. Could deny that gold, but Villese couldn't know of that since he saw the archer already moving over.
Yeah, so, well, now you got the problem that archers are there. Your gold has been denied, you need to move away. Don't see a clear sign of stone being gathered here by Hera, and that is not ideal. The pressure by his opponent, nicely done, currently very effective. Let's see where this is going.
Hera is sending some of his archers back, or all of his archers back, adds another skirmisher. Should win the fight if he can micro this one properly, and even has a quite early flashment for himself. And if he has fletching, he will just smash those fights quite easily. Goes on back on 2 gold, queues up some more villagers, so fletching, something for the future.
Yeah, something in the future, because currently no one is getting any attacks over here. It's just some pushing around. Hera is now, I mean, interesting that Villese didn't cause that much of damage. I mean, of course, there was some idle time, but that is it. No real harm has been caused. And Hera is actually stabilizing by just chasing Villese, and that is currently it, you would say. The build situation still the same, but finally, Villese is getting that stone. It seems that we're going to see more towers.
Oh man, it felt like it's long overdue, right? Villagers will back out a bit at the start. Men-at-Arms are trying to find some damage. So far, Hera with his skirmisher defense pretty fine, is one villager ahead, not the biggest of differences.
Yeah, not the biggest indeed. So we got archers versus skirms and archers. So of course the army composition of Hera seems more of a doable one. Survivability is higher there, you would say, but there we go. Both sides were fletching. Now it is Villese understanding that he needs to retreat because he's about to lose more and more of his archers. Men-at-Arms are in between as well, trying to chase the skirmishes, but I don't know where this is really going. I mean, obviously they're now going to the south, but it's not the end of the world currently.
Those stances not too important. Now we go into the POV of Mr. Hera again. Look at all the scrolling going on. He sees, okay, let's get some more food. Feels like the wood is protected. Saw the villagers moving there and might think about dropping a defensive tower, but he doesn't have enough stone, so tricky spot for him. Might lose that. Oh, we just saw he doesn't even have the wood upgrade. Neither player does.
Yeah, neither player does. Very interesting. So the economy is really, well, to be improved. Speaking of towers, there's now one going to be dropped by Villese over here. The position of which being still nice because the wood line is now being denied. But at the same time, it is Hera actually pressuring, attacking the palisades, and somewhat confident that he's going to march forward and eventually deal with Villese's army. At least this is how it seems.
Yeah, the military count are absolutely even. The only thing that would indicate him winning is having the +1 defense. Even another man-at-arm queued up. Remember, Malians have the +1 defense against the archers and skirmishers. That's why he's ungarrisoning now. It does some damage to the archers in the back, dealing some as well. Skirmishers and men-at-arms coming from the back. The tower even helps out from both sides.
From both sides indeed, but currently it is Hera actually utilizing his very nicely. I see a lot of archers down the drain here by Villese. A nice trade because on the side of Hera there's just, skirmishes in the majority, and making use of the man-at-arms of the Malians would be ideal, but currently none to be seen. One in the making, couple of skirms, and that is it.
Oh man, and we said this was an even fight, but he fought so much under the tower there and has to GG this one quite quickly.
Wow.
It was simply fighting under the tower there with the 5 villagers inside, and Hera, he went for it, at least with one misstep. It was so even when it came to the military count.
It was very even, but one misstep, as you said, it's decided it's a lot of useful resources down the drain, also the units dead. Therefore, resulting in the win for Hera, equalizing the very situation, meaning that we'll go for the entire series, game number 5. But for now, just looking at this, man, it was a nice performance by Hera, finish it off quickly.
Yeah, but we discussed it earlier as well. It probably was fine for Villese to just win 2 maps out of the first 4 ones, because he will have the Civ advantage into game number 5. And, well, this one was super even, then one misstep, but that's really showcases how big of a level we are approaching Age of Empires. You do one misclick in one game, it's over.
And that's over. Right, we see this in other real-time strategy games as well. It's very, very nice to see it in Age of Empires as well. I'm always loving those decisive moments. And in this case, it was possible. Very well done. Let's have a look at the achievements.
KD, well, it's simply the one fight, right? He lost the 6, 7 cross archer and skirmishes under the tower, and then it was just completely over. I think overall resources, Hera actually had the slight advantage. No, it's pretty even, more stone and more gold on the side of Villese. Yeah, no biggies. The game was completely even, and then one blow up.
One blow up decided everything. Who would have thought? Well, one misstep decided it. But yeah, besides that, everything quite equal. And if we look at the timeline over here, well, there's no significant difference here. Just this one moment where Hera had a bit less of military, but then recovered and, went really, really aggressively there and was successful.
Yeah, that was the one where he lost all his men-at-arms. And, well, game number 5. You are now the AM coach. You go, rub the back of Hera, tell him like, nice, well played, come back, your mindset is there. But now he faces Chinese against Mayans. What are your words? No, you can't tell what you do.
No, I was just bringing up that question again, pedagogically, just mentioning it again. So what to do? I would say, Hera, you need to go aggressive over here. You know that the Civ situation is not ideal. You take your Chinese Civ, you make use of that, and go as aggressive as possible, meaning you somewhat aim for a forwardish castle, I would say. Try to go for this Chinese push as quick as possible to keep the main sky busy, which is easier said than done. You are the slower Civ. You are also not as mobile in many concerns, so you need to get the spotlight on yourself by forcing it, and I would see this happening only by being super aggressive.
Is there an option to play an imp with Chukunu and Siege against the Mayan Flare, or is that just a lost cause?
It's not a lost cause if micro is part of the mix as well, so we got a land situation. The lag is non-existent here. Obviously, both can micro it, so it means that the plumes will be splitting up the entire time if Siege is there. But you never know, man. You never know. If you just pressure it as much as possible, I would maybe see some, you know, nice connections by onagers or so happening. But we gotta see and, yeah, see if that's even gonna happen. I don't know, man.
Plundatus is so good at moving around and dodging those onager shots as well. Then we have the no lag factor also playing in the hands of our mobility player, the Mayans.
It looks grim. It looks grim indeed.
We just saw the Max and Zupi stopping by at Villese, giving some thumbs up there. And Hera, he doesn't look too concerned, right?
No, I mean, both are somewhat focused, aware of the situation as 2-2, so knowing that the next game is going to decide it. They're probably also aware of the Civ situation that they're in, but it seems that Hera has something planned. I don't know, if I just look at his face, he just has this kind of smile. He has an idea, at least. Let's see how realistic that's going to be.
Yeah, his economy should be a bit better. It's just the unit choice. Let's take a look into this one. Registered Fortress coming up. It is the decider, guys.
Exactly. So, let's make it happen. And here we are. To the top right-hand side, we start with Hera and the Chinese, obviously. And bottom left-hand side, we got Villese with the Mayans. Okay. So the question, of course, is it important? The map, will it be decisive? On Arena, it was. Let's check this one out. Anything specific, anything striking for you that you can point out?
We're just seeing the very early lure here. The villagers are jumping around a bit, and that's a solid start here by Villese. We see the very protected stones, so Villese should get onto more castles if he desires to. Golds all at the top. We have some towers to defend that area, so tricky to push from the left-hand side. I think the map of Villese somewhat okayish. Maybe wood could be an option in the long run.
Yeah, right. So he has this interesting situation with the castle and the tower up in that wood line there. So that's going to be interesting to see what he's going to do with that. If you look at Hera's base here, well, he got all the minerals to the sides. Nothing to the front at least, just this 4 piles of gold. But besides that, gold on the left-hand side and stone to the right-hand side. The right-hand side seems a bit naked to me. That, you know, imagine that. There's the upper hill for any kind of aggression. There's both stones. It seems vulnerable to me. It might be the spot to attack from. I know.
I think if the main player is ever controlling that hill, the game is over regardless. So I would not be too concerned in that matchup about that. But in general, yeah, having a castle there could surely give you some more feeling of security.
Yeah, for certain. For now, the Kings are just having a nice walk, trying to go for the scouting. Especially Villese is up to the front right now. What he sees currently is, well, he's trying to detect his opponent's position. Of course, be aware of the fact that if you lose your king, it will be over. So ideally, you don't get sniped. There we go. Villese now seeing that there is a tower, determining the very location of his opponent.
Yeah, nothing too special there. Even kind of a risk to move out with that king, because the castle could have been at the front here.
Right.
But yeah, he keeps the distance and should be fine. The second volley shouldn't really come there.
Yeah, so that's that. Hera clicking up first over here. If we just look at his base, what he does currently, just sending a lot of vills on gold here, by the way. But we'll see where exactly this is going. Also, the king has been transferred forwards. It's now in the watchtower. Interesting. But not for too long.
Okay, now he's moving out again. That's a bit surprising. Maybe he wants to get some more intel. Both players up to the Castle Age, both playing pop 24. Pretty standard. Then build 2 more villagers and go up to Castle Age. Chinese spawning with 3 extra villagers. Mayans with 1 extra villager.
Yeah, that is pretty much it. Therefore, resulting in Hera clicking up first. The King's indeed just having a nice walk, especially Hera is now moving to the back just to make sure that if there are some extra resources that is to be protected. He also needs to think of some helpful walls if he wants to secure and gain more area that he has access to. We'll see about this one. He's also chopping the wood in the front of his base, by the way, so he must think about this position as well once it's going to be relevant in Castle Age. But until then, it's still for us to see what's going to happen. Hera with a very low scout, low HP scout, by the way.
Yeah, might need to send that one back. Doesn't want to be out too much. Will win in Feudal Age with his scout, but in Castle Age he obviously loses to the Mayan Eagle Warrior. Now some buildings at the front and keeps it open. This is not a lot of map control. I'm a bit surprised by his choice of buildings, at least the positioning.
Yeah.
I think at the top here might have been something better.
I would have said as well, because he also was there with his king, but instead he chooses the front. I mean, obviously he's going to close that gap somehow with another building or a gate or whatever it is. But we'll see. Currently it's still open there, interestingly. Hera's now going for Castle Age. It's going to be up at 9:41. That's decent. Currently, Carby doesn't show us that he's going to go for something specific yet. Castle also not producing anything. We'll see, while Villese adding now the market and the blacksmith and is on stone. So that seems like more and more castles that he's going to be interested in.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
Okay. Hera is building stone walls at the very top here. That's a bit surprising to me. He himself is not on stone at all. That's indicating a Castle Age aggression with probably a mangonel or something. But Villese, he's on stone himself, so that could be more defensive towers. Is this a 1 TC push by Hera?
I mean, we've talked about some risk that might be useful in order to win this kind of matchup. I'm not so sure how aggressive he's going to go. If it's true what you say, that might be very lethal for both of them. If, of course, one guy fails, that is going to be it. But he can be also successful, but that is also going to depend on the execution, map design and whatnot. There are spots, there's possibilities. Villese also getting fletching here, by the way. And besides that is all for now.
Yeah, we won't see the 1 TC aggression. He bought 100 stone, he's collecting more, so all good in the hood. I was scared for a small moment because he didn't scout Villese at all yet. If we take a look at his POV, he was luring both spores with the scout. That put him down to only 5 HP and has very little map intel. Did scout 3 relics and 1 extra stone. That's it so far.
That's it so far. So, Hera is adding a second TC to the left-hand side. That's the area that he has now secured with this nice walling of his. And that is it, actually. I don't see any sign of super aggression over here, but that might change in the next minutes. We'll have to stick around and see, of course. And now that Villese is in the next stage, he's directly going for Plumed Archers.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. We'll have the map control unit that he wants to go for later on as well. Scales pretty well towards the later ages. I'm still a bit surprised Villese, he did build the mining camp there. Wouldn't it been a bad spot to just delete that lumber camp and build the TC there a bit later?
Yeah, I get your point. I mean, now that he is building the TC just to the left of that, so yeah, it would have been nice. But yeah, he's in that very situation, so I agree. It could have been a possibility. It would be smart to make it like this, but maybe just in the course of actions, he just didn't think about this one, while Hera now adding his third TC.
Lovely stuff. Some people in the chat just said, okay, it would be lovely to know more about the players, and I have good news for you. We as the casters prepared some interviews on yesterday, our media day, and in the next days we will have some interviews as timing fillers. That could be pretty entertaining for you.
Yeah, definitely check that one out. That's going to be very nice. But until then, we are now to see what the players are doing. And it is Villese making use of the map currently. He has a set of Plumed Archers. It's 5 of them in total for now, if I see that correctly. 7 are on the pitch, actually, so that's even more. And he's just going to make sure that he has somewhat of a control, that he knows when Hera's going to spread out. Maybe he can even harass a couple of vills. There we go. There's the wood line. Hera sees that and is now trying to go back and protect himself with 2 canoes. But the Plumed Archer's not moving away yet.
Yeah, and it is so weird, right? That he went for that spot. Those Chukunus now won't do anything. One plumed archer being left alone. Okay, you protect that area. We will try to find another angle. Let's take a look. What did he scout? He did scout the right-hand side area. Shouldn't really find too much. Has no idea about the wall's left-hand side. He knows that Hera is on the woodline though.
Yeah, so that might be something for him for the future, because he is now harassing one woodline. The second one on the left-hand side might be his next victim. And yeah, besides that, there's not many options. I mean, there's this nice, convenient woodline inside of his base, but that is it. Hera not too happy with the situation with his own Chukunus, trying his best to keep the plumes away from that spot. But as said, they're now moving to the left-hand side. Both sides getting loom, by the way. Hera has it now, just to make sure that his vills are not going to get sniped at the woodline. And Villese getting it as well, which is very interesting because he's not the one being raided. He's not being the one being harassed or something like this. It might be that he marches out now with a couple of vills and drops something. We will see. More plumes are being made.
Yeah, as he should, right? Doesn't slow down his boom too much at all. As we can see, Chinese should have the advantage here, but only one villager ahead at the moment. We have the same eco upgrade, so far, Villese, although we didn't have any kills or deaths so far, with a better game.
Yeah, I would say so as well, because he's making use of the map. He has the map in his hands. He has the faster units with that one. So potentially, if Hera wants to go out and, you know, challenge it, the control, he's going to have the disadvantage because he is slower than that. Because, yeah, of the units that he has access to, Chukunus, plumes, there we go. And it just doesn't stop by Villese. Continuously producing more and more plumed archers. And yeah, even going for houses now, so that might be a reason why he went for loom, just making sure that he adds a couple of houses that can protect his other goals. He might connect a couple of wood lines with each other.
Yeah, getting some more control there. Not a great spot to
it's
wall. Or at
very
least
ambitious.
but, well, the left-hand side is kind of short behind this, and if he needs the houses in the long run anyways, maybe just squeeze in university, maybe the monastery or some, and, well, let the girl do her job.
Let the girl do her job, indeed. I mean, that also shows us that he's somewhat confident that it is a doable thing for the villager, meaning that he has the map control, he's aware of this, and now he knows that he can keep Hera inside of his base. This is not ideal for Hera, in my opinion, because, as I said in the beginning, it will not be better in the future if we're just up against elite plumed archers in the end. It's better to make something happen before any kind of plumed archers domination.
Hera is now going on to stone, indicating that he wants to go for more castles pretty soon, or at least one extra TC, but most likely more castles. And yeah, for me, that means that he's going towards the direction we wanted to see from him. One low-plumed archer might even lose against the scout. Let's take a look here, and that should not really happen.
3 HP left.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
And if we could get it. Okay, bottom arrow now for Mr. Villese as well. Wheelbarrow for Hera. Villese still without wheelbarrow, although we are at 64 villagers. Could have been an earlier timing, if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that one, especially at this point of time. It would have been so advantageous to have wheelbarrow until then, but nope, not happening. But at least the Chukunus are now marching out, looking for that engagement, actually. Very interesting. Here the plumed archers are taking it somewhat by continuously kiting, making use of a bit of a hill advantage. It's also splitting. There we go. Just making use of the dynamics of this very unit, while the Chukunus just are forced to, well, follow the others.
20 to 19, the military count here. No one really picking up any relics yet. We have some control over the right-hand side, and, well, +1 defense now. We have a monk queued up. Lots of villagers queued up behind this as well. Both trying to increase their Chukunu and plumed archer numbers. Trying to micro bit, but we shouldn't see any significant advantages here.
Yeah, if we just look at the economies, 74 vills to 67, it's very, very tight, the difference here. Everyone with the same economy upgrades. Of course, the timing was a bit, well, to be improved here by the Aftermath player. But nevertheless, there's just this +1 defense that Villese also has in addition, but that is it. So there's legit nothing too significant. The villager, by the way, about to finish at least a part of the wall, which is, of course, well done. And Imperial Age for Hera.
Grand food, 300 gold in the bank for Villese, so he will take a solid 1 or 2 minutes to click up himself. Even population. Does Hera have enough map control to get a forward castle up? He is at 300 stone, Villese at 600 stone. might build the defensive castle, and that hill looks perfect for it.
Yeah, so that is the question about castles. Forward castles, I think both sides require maybe even additional siege to make sure that the opponent will not approach that close with either plumes or especially Chukunus. But we'll see about this because now we have another engagement incoming very soon, it seems. Hera now with the advantage being on that hill. Villese is aware of it, going back even with a monk here, making use of the fact that he can get the relics. And the castle indeed going up on that hill for Villese, making sure that he is somewhat defended.
Hera just finished ballistic, so he's fine with taking some engagements here now. The relic is trying to get carried out of there by the monk. Goes for some more split micro, and well, the game is going very stalematey. And we kind of predicted that should be better for the main player.
Yeah, that is it. So I don't like the situation for Hera. Let me repeat that again. But you never know. You never know. Maybe he's going to make something happen. It doesn't seem like it at this point, but at least he's making use of the front part of his map, which is a castle. At least there's something. He's securing more gold with that one. Assuming that both sides will still wait for the right moment. Even thinking about traps, I don't think that's going to happen anytime too soon. For that one, I need to see more closer castles, so to speak. The Villes are still marching forward. There is enough stone very soon for Villese to drop another castle, by the way.
Villese apparently misclicking or something there. I'm a bit surprised. And, well, hill control continues to be good for him. Hera is going for the hill on front of his base. I think trap production needs to start ASAP.
Yeah, it would be quite of a useful thing, but I assume that Villese is still waiting for a situation in which he can drop another castle somewhere and then to have a nice reinforcement rate when it comes, production rate basically, when it comes to the traps. Right now we have a little pause, I assume. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, it's a very slow game here, but it's continuing right now. Villese also on the way to PLH, getting thumb ring at this point.
It looked like a small pause by Hera, and then he queued up the trap as if he didn't have a hotkey for that. We obviously know that he produced some on Arena, so that could not have been the issue. Relic at the side here. Let me take a look if Hera knows about the other. Oh, he does not know about the Relic. Oh, this is so unfortunate for him there. So won't have control of that. Likely scenario will be 3 against 1 Relic for a very long time.
Yeah, and that is of course not too good for the one player that has less relics. It will add up. It is quite some resources that he can spend on it extra. So that is of course great for the one having more relics, but Hera now approaching, and with his trebuchet feels somewhat confident. He knows that with his aggression, he's going to force and provoke Villese strategically, military-wise, to engage somewhat, to deal with this very trebuchet. Why the
Hera just axed there and probably
on his castle, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Might have been weird. I have no
in case
real
you
idea.
wonder, my castle's there. I know. Another trebuchet is in the making, on the way, and that castle of Villese now in danger, but being repaired.
Uh-oh, and Villese, he is going for the Eagle switch behind this, or did he just switch a rule? It was Eagle Warrior and +1 defense on the way, but he cancelled both of them. Maybe thought, okay, there had to be a switch into skirmishes, but now saw the Chukunu numbers again, and is trying to make a defense happen. Trap production from both players on the way.
Nice trebuchet shot there. But yeah, you're right. I mean, there were 2 barracks, but indeed it was cancelled. He is now reconsidering, thinking about some other things that might be more useful at this point. Currently just focused about his plumed archer production, and more important now the trebuchets as he's forced to engage. There's 3 trebuchets very soon trapping down that castle. 2 trebuchets on the hill for Villese, adding more traps as we speak right now, getting masonry as well, just to make use of the fact that, you know, getting more and more HP on his buildings will be useful. And the plumed archers now engaging. Chukunu's shooting a lot. Nice micro. Let's see what's going to happen. The castle is in danger.
I really hate that Hera is not adding any villagers here to repair his traps. He started off 2 traps against 1. Now it's 3-2 because he was losing the other one and going for the full production. He's now, oh, thought again and is going for the Eagle switch. Fundacha's doing a good job, and oh god, this is a horrible engagement. Losing some before he got out of there. There was like 4 Fundacha's lost without even shooting once.
Yeah, I'm not so sure if he expected that ram also, maybe confused him at that point. Hera also getting bloodlines, by the way, so while Villese is considering the infantry, there's actually Hera doing something completely different, which is actually Lighthouse here, as it seems, getting scouts out right now.
Maybe to snipe the traps, maybe to get some more map control. He has 3 castles rolling for himself, so the production isn't looking too shabby. It's still normal Plumed Archers against Shuganu, so no upgrade there. Villese is going with all his upgrades into the switch into Eagle Warriors. But Eagle Warriors, not that sick against Shuganus.
Not that sick indeed, because, yeah, well, if the Jugnus are given the time to shoot their arrows, the massive arrows, that's obviously not so good. You will definitely have to wait for a lot of upgrades on these Eagles to make it happen, and even then, it's not ideal. And speaking of not ideal, I see that Hera is successfully pushing, man.
How is that happening? The Eagles, which cost him so many resources here apparently, and now the Eagles are moving in. But look at the upgrades. It's not a single attack upgrade, only one defense upgrade, so that's not too great. The Rams are looking to kill the traps here at the side. Let's take a look how if they can get any connections. Going for the castle first, doing some splash damage against the traps. They are getting away.
They're getting away, man. Look at this. Only 6 or 7 plumes left. And 9 Eagles on the pitch, which are not fully upgraded. Plate mail armor kicking in just in a few seconds. In the meantime, Hera has enough time to think about the future, getting rocketry. Very nice for his Jugunus. And also light calves with the +2 upgrade on that one, making sure that he's going to be able to snipe. But at least, from Vilese's point of view, it's good for him because Hera's lost his traps. A reason for Hera to go back and reinforce and strike back again at some point, getting +4 at this point.
Okay, +4. Pretty important there to soak up some damage. Shuganus, as we said, not too bad though. If we can see 8 +4 and +2 extra coming in any second. So 14 damage +2 extra arrows. Eagles cannot soak all of that up. Sneaky Monk trying to come around here, but shouldn't really work with that castle there. Lightcav controlling the extra gold. I honestly prefer the position of Hera as weird as it sounds.
Indeed. Because for Villese, who has been now considering the switch for a long time, is quite expensive, and he's in a situation where he has deficit because he has lost that many plumes. He cannot just easily go for the Eagles, resulting in a situation where he is just hoping that he's not going to be attacked at any point soon. In the meantime, though, Hera is going for it. He's now marching forward. We see Lightcasts, Chukunus, Rams. It's all happening, slowly but steadily approaching.
You say Chukunus, I raise the elite Chukunu, now just finishing forging on the way for both players as well. Going for more siege workshops. I wouldn't be surprised to see the siege ram upgrade behind this any second. Map control a bit better for Hera, and he is annoying at the bottom, getting some raids in.
Very interesting how this is developing. It still seems promising for Hera. He is actually the one making use of the map way more now because he's everywhere trying to go to the right and left. But Villese thinking ahead now. At least he tries to. Elite Eagle Warriors now marching forward. Iron Casting in the making, Arsenal in the making, meaning that he's about to raid a couple of TCs or any kind of other buildings once he's given the opportunity.
Something we didn't mention yet, Eldorado already finished as well, so 100 HP on those Eagle Warriors. The traps are very unprotected here though, and those are super costly. 200 wood, 200 gold, down the drain, ×1, ×2, and potentially ×4 here.
Yeah, indeed. So he actually created this vacuum by moving away with his Elite Eagle Warriors, and indeed all the traps are going down. That is so expensive, and even more so we see how the remaining units, which are a couple of Eagles and the Blooms, are being taken by a bit of arrow fire and the light cast, reducing the numbers. The Eagles now alive, but we're talking still about a lot of Chukunus, 27 of which more and more light caps engaging. It just doesn't stop. Hera's not giving in at all, and that castle might go down, but Villese trying his best to actually keep it up, desperately trying to keep it up, but for how long? And how successful he's going to be? What kind of use is he going to have once this castle is down? It seems very, very gloomy.
It drops down to 900 HP. Mass repair behind this is trying to save the castle. It's only one trap from behind, but fighting uphill there, so the HP are increasing for now, but that will cost a lot of stone. Stone now completely dry here for Villese. I think the next attack will be as scary.
Yeah, at least as scary. There's a lot of potential behind this. At least, though, Villese is given some time. He's actually cleaned up that situation on the right-hand side. TC is down, meaning that the Eagles were somewhat successful, and I see the numbers of Eagles are increasing. 47, fully upgraded now, right now with Blast Furnace now. Eldorado is there as well, but I don't know, man. I don't know. We're talking about 41 and increasing numbers of Chukunus, a lot of light calves, a lot of Rams also, just Eagles. It's just Eagles. So how successful is that going to be?
And we are back, guys. Now the Rams trying to, or have to go back. Eagle Warriors trying to go for some dancing here. Military count is 52 to 65. I think for a Mayan player especially, it is a bit of an overboom here for Villese. He needs a bigger army behind this.
Yeah, that is true indeed. That is true indeed. That's a lot of villagers, and he's still producing, man. At some point, he's not going to be able to actually pump out elite Eagle Warriors anymore because there's going to be way too much of the villagers. He's just still holding the ground. I mean, impressive performance by Villese to keep that castle up. It's still not down, but there are now ramps approaching, and once there's a slightly less number, little number of eagles, I guess he will be just coming very close with the siege ramps. Just a matter of time because the Chukunos doing most of the work. The eagles just pushing, but also dying at the same time.
Oh, they're committing now. Chukunos doing a lot of damage here from behind. The castle is shooting. The ramps are soaking up quite a lot of damage. All the light cav are falling. And the eagles feeling like they can't get the engagement they wanted.
Yeah, so the eagles went in and they did kill a lot of units, but those were just light calves. And in the meantime, they just died. I mean, the majority of that one just went down in the arrow fire of the Chukunos, meaning that was a bad trade. Elite skirmishes for Villese now, another investment into another type of unit. At least he got the upgrades for that one already due to the plumed archers. But still, the Chukunos still there, and also the Rams still there. It doesn't stop at all, man.
Oh, those eagles getting so much damage against them. Yeah, they're killing some Rams. Trading off against light cap isn't the prettiest thing for them. But look at that, Hera is microing this so beautifully. He's moving back. The traps even focusing down on the Chukunos. Everything dodged by Hera here. And how did Villese, after losing those 4 traps, keep his castle up and is getting back to another 3 defensive traps?
Exactly. Very impressive performance so far because still, he's actually created situations in which he had more traps around. We're back again. But still, it's the same situation, and I feel it's still better for Hera because he has more of the map. He has more potential. Also on the left-hand side, just worth mentioning, by the way, there's a little push. Nice one from Villese, actually reacting adequately, just closing it right away. But he doesn't have the map anymore because, you know, if he doesn't have the map, if he doesn't have extra resources, at some point he's going to crumble. And that just means that Hera's going to push through despite Villese's efforts here. The castle's still on fire, a lot of traps still up, a lot of eagles being sacrificed for the sake of holding the ground here. How long is it going to go?
Hero and Militia mixed in as well. Traps are connecting quite nicely against the Chukunos, but that means they are not connecting with the traps here from Hera at the top. The castle is still holding, but the Rams are now moving in and killing another 3 traps again.
There we go. Oh my god, the traps are down. What about the castle? And they're now engaging with the castle. Oh, and there we go. The castle is down, meaning that the Chukunos can march forward now. It's way more convenient for them. And if there are a couple more light castles, it will be even nicer, just as a meat shield. And then I feel Villese is gonna run out of options over here, man.
Oh man, dropping down to Pop 160, getting raided at 2 different spots as well. The push into a potential King Snipe is so far away. Hera, he is taking full control of this game. 3 traps still out, debating beautifully with the light cav here at the side, taking a great engagement. And look at those villagers, they're up to no good.
Yeah, up to no good. I just wonder what they're... Oh, there we go. He just bought the stone. For the record, on the left-hand side, the spot is open once again, so light cavs can squeeze in through, and they're actually raiding a tiny bit of Villese's base. It's looking really bad for him. Siege Workshop being dropped, and I'm expecting only more and more stuff to happen from the Chinese player. Something that I didn't expect, and there we go, GG!
AM taking the serious. Hera so happy here, and he sees that was an intense game for sure. Villese played incredible, but we have to say Suomi losing both of their 1v1s.
That is not ideal at all. We've talked about it in the beginning. In a situation like this where you lose the games like that, it's gonna be tight, man. You need to get a lot of wins here to make it happen on the last day. So that's obviously not a good start, but still it was a great matchup. I gotta be honest, man. Suomi, AM with Villese and Hera, wonderful. Best of 5.
Remember, Villese was the first spot or first place in the Woobly 1v1 ladder, and he really showed why. And Hera in tippy-toppy shape at the moment. We have to look out for those 2 players in upcoming matches.
That is true for certain. Very nice one. And yeah, just a nice game. The last game was really intense, I gotta be honest.
And guys, if you are moving anywhere, you are not the most clever person, because the next 1v1 coming up will be AM versus Secret.
Secret, exactly.
The Viper against MBL.
There we go. That's gonna be intense for sure. So stay around.
That will be casted by T90 and Onlu.
Exactly. So
we will take a look at the stats here and then go into the winner's interview, Mr. Hera, after that.
Exactly. Looking forward.
The better KD for Hera did kill so many Eagle Warriors there. The more kills. He was struggling a bit with the trap production, but in the end really fell through with that. More food and a lot more wood for him.
Yeah, just speaking of the military stats again, Hera also did lose a lot of light calves, right? And still the KD is positive for him. It means that he kept his true canoes alive for a distinctive amount of time just to make sure that he gained a lot from that one. Well played, well played.
Indeed. Was just constantly having the faster uptiming Chukunus or Chinese with the better economy there and utilized that beautifully, both with high villager numbers.
Yeah, very well done. Something I wouldn't have expected from this very last game, but it was well executed by Hera. Definitely a thing that is worth watching again and again. Nice one, gotta be honest, I liked it.
I did as well, and we will jump into the winner's interview any second. Don't go anywhere, and after that, an incredible 1v1 series, 3 2v2 series, tomorrow all the 3v3s, and the finals. Oh god, I'm happy.
I'm happy as well. It's going to be such a long evening. We're not even halfway through, just saying, so stay around, stay tuned. There's more to come very soon.
And we are back. The Stash took it in a very tough series there, 3-2. How do you feel, Hera?
I feel pretty good, but also really tired because it was a hell of a series, and 5 games is a lot to play.
Yeah. Would you have expected that it would have been this way, 3-2 situation, very tight towards the end? I mean, must have been quite crazy, but was it like this for you? Very tight situation, or did you have everything under control?
Honestly, the games were very close, and you couldn't predict the winner until the very end. And even the last game was a very even matchup in terms of civs and map, I think. So, yeah, it was a grind to the end.
Okay, then let's jump into the analysis. Game number 2. You had the early aggression there. Could dictate the fight. Were you surprised at all that he went for Man-at-Arms?
Okay, so game number 2, I think I played really well early, like you said, with the pressure. But I think when I slipped up was when I added 2 barracks and started, making spearmen. The men-at-arms were really good, though.
Okay, what do you think could have been better transitioning from feudal to castle age?
Definitely not making the second barracks. If anything, I should just save my wood and make a monastery and siege workshop right away. Because if I play 3TC boom with monk siege and crossbows, then I'm fine in castle age.
Okay. Some players also like to add the 30C on the flat ground to protect the shorefish. He went into heavy farming. He didn't build a single farm the whole game. Do you think that was an issue as well?
It's been a while since I played Dry River, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. That was a mistake.
Were you surprised? Sorry.
No, all good.
Okay.
You continue.
It was tough to read who would get up to Castle Age at what time because he went into Scouts, +1 defense. Did you think Castle Age timings were a bit earlier, or did you know, okay, I'm now up to Castle Age, I will have a huge tech advantage?
I was actually, I knew I was super far ahead because I had killed so many villagers, and also I had good trade as well with the archers on the knights, the scouts. The reason why I threw my lead is because I expected full scouts from him when I saw the armor, and then he just didn't go for that. He went for towers instead, and that pushed me off because I had only spears to defend and archers. So that's where I started slipping up.
Yeah, it was interesting to watch that. I got a question about game number 3 here. That was an arena, right?
Yeah.
So we had Melee versus Britons. Normally I would say that the Melee got the advantage because of various reasons. They're seen as the strongest civ, one of the strongest civs on that map. But to us it gave us the feeling that you were maybe having the idea in your minds, but when you saw the map maybe it was not, adequate enough for that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not very experienced in arena, so I kind of had one strategy going into it, which was just to boom and do a castle defense. I was actually expecting him to go for siege tower, but he didn't do that. So I had a really bad map, 3 forward gold, and I had only one strategy prepared, so I was going to do it regardless.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, in the end, it was quite tough, but the Mangonel war was quite interesting. I mean, would have been crazy if it went the other way, but still was interesting. Any other question?
Game number 5. We were thinking that Mayans had the advantage over Chinese. You feel like it's more of an even matchup? What was your approach into the game?
I had no idea, so I went back and asked Leary how to play the matchup, and I think the matchup after playing it is very even. And
Aftermath!
Yeah, okay.
Aftermath! Leary!
So yeah, I thought like after playing it, I think the matchup is pretty even. Although I think a few moments in the game will dictate who wins, and I think I capitalized on those moments.
I mean, at no point you thought maybe that mains would be superior?
Yeah, they're better early game, but I think my early game defense was amazing. Like I didn't lose a single villager with that forward wood line. My map was so bad. Like I got really unlucky. But I think I played really well in the beginning of Castle Age to protect my map, and then once I get to my boom and my earlier imp, because Chinese get faster imp, then it was pretty straightforward from there, I think, and I was able to kick it into high gear with the light cap, C-Tram, and Chukunu.
Yeah, solid, man, solid.
Sweet stuff, and you played incredibly well. Next series coming up, the Viper against MBL. Your predictions?
I think MBL is probably the one player that gives Viper the most troubles, and I think we've seen that in previous tournaments. Though I do believe on this particular map pool, I think Viper would have the small edge. A couple of water maps in there. Arena, I think Viper's really good on that map. But I think if MBL performs and plays well, he definitely has his chances. I'd probably say 60-40 to Viper. Could go either way though.
Sweet stuff, and that will be up next with Mr. Onlu until 90 coming your way here on EscapeAoE.
Stay tuned.